T-minus 30 seconds. T-minus 20 seconds. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0.
Good.
You ready for do more in the future? Trap Talk Podcasters?
Yes.
Man.
Only Trap Talk. Exclusive.
Yes.
Exclusive. Oh.
So stop calling us.
Rub the spot, get the club to pop. When I come up with the crop, gotta love it or not. I'm hot from the hop to the rub the spot, get the club to pop. When I come up with the rub the spot, get the club to pop. When I come up with the rub the spot, get the club to pop. When I come up with the rub the spot, get the club to pop. When I come up with everybody, we do it. Everybody, we do it. Do it. Do it. Do it. Rub the spot, get the club to pop. When I come up with the rub the spot, get the club to pop. When I come up with the rub the spot, get the club to pop. When I come up with the rub the spot, get the club to pop. When I come up.
We are now tapped into the coolest reptile podcast in the world. Welcome to the Trap Talk Podcast, episode 275 with the man, the myth, the legend, actually my very, very first sponsor in this podcast game. And what an honor it is to be with my man, John from Sim Container. Look, I cannot believe I'm here right now, John.
I can't believe it either.
I mean, you got to understand how much I've been just living off your content of you. I mean, listen, you're my monitor mentor, man. Like a lot of the monitor dreams and stuff that I'm manifesting are stuff that you put out there, and to be in this area, have this beautiful bell-faced lace monitor behind me. What's his name, by the way?
Scar.
Okay.
Yeah.
So guys, understand we are in this guy's basement where he has all his beautiful monitors, his lace monitors. So if you hear some bashing, some crashing, everything's good. They're just falling off the perch and doing their thing. Don't mind them at all, man. But guys, real quick, before we get into things, I got to say that this episode is only possible because my buddy Shane over at Above All Scales sponsored this episode. So please do me a favor and go follow my buddy Shane. Just start his Instagram account.
Thank you, Shane.
It's Above All Scales on Instagram. And then also make sure you hit that subscribe button, drop a comment. Let me know what you like best out of this episode. Let me know what you are, loving best. What kind of knowledge John's going to drop for us tonight. But John, how you been, man? Hey, listen.
I'm good. I'm feeling great.
Other than the monitors, you're an awesome dad.
Thank you.
I got to tell you right now, man, it's awesome to see you in the flesh working with your two beautiful daughters.
Yes.
And then your wife working with you.
That's right. It's not an easy life for her. I'll tell you that.
I mean, one thing I got to say, and we could just get into this right off the bat, is how you're able to attain a 9-to-5 job. You're able to handle being a father and then come home and still delegate what you need to with the monitors. I mean, congratulations on getting your first lace clutch this year. That's huge.
Second.
Okay, so you had two this year.
Yes.
So your very first one was this year, and then your second, right? Or no?
Yeah, you're right.
No,
yeah,
okay.
It was actually New Year's Eve last year, but it's.
Oh, what? But they hatched out.
Yeah.
Okay. So finally, though, I mean that was a long time coming.
It was a long
you,
time coming.
right? And you put in your licks, you put in your
did.
time, and I do want to talk about the road leading to that.
Okay.
And first and foremost, John, Andrew, shout out to Andrew Acevedo. He's upstairs taking a nap. God bless him. But he's been driving me around, and obviously me and Andrew talk so much about what's, I don't know, Andrew has told me a lot about you, but he's told me so much importance that you've had as far as working with monitors. But I got to tell you, the biggest thing that me and Andrew kind of vibe off of the most are the lace monitors.
Yeah.
And the only reason I could say I have a pair of lace monitors is because what Andrew has instilled into my brain. But a lot of the stuff he told me is based off what you're doing. So I want to kind of talk about what's, what was the turnaround as far as you getting success with lace monitors, and what do you think it was I was holding you back from getting lace production?
Well, in 2012, I imported the first 2 Bells lace out of Europe, and I sold them to Don Church.
Wow.
And I said, these were beautiful. I hope one day I could work with them. But I sold them to Don Church, and he ran with it, as we all know. He did an amazing job reading lace monitors. I brought in lace a couple more times. This time, the second time I imported lace, I imported normal lace out of Europe, and they got sold to other eventual breeders of lace monitors. A friend of mine, Brian Waterloo, is one of them.
Brian Waterloo.
Yep.
I mean, shout out to that guy.
Yeah,
what
great
a legend.
guy. Yep. So just more or less maybe 3 years ago, I said, I think it's time I get these lace monitors here in this house. I really want to see what they're about. I really want to work with them. I have the room for them, so let me put something together. So I wound up acquiring 2.2, and that's the 4 that you see in here.
Right.
And I raised them up, and they're producing now.
I mean, to really understand things as far as, you mentioned something like Brian Waterloo. And Brian, I mean, from what I understand, somebody on that pedestal of breeding laces, like he has that shit dialed in.
He does.
The way he has it, right?
Yeah.
But there's not a lot of people that are dialed in like this.
No,
Like,
very few.
so what was it you feel like, go ahead.
Well, I felt that, I had bred the large monitors, and I breed a lot of dwarf monitors. So I felt like lace shouldn't be too much of a challenge to figure out. I have my ways with monitors. Like they're not that difficult once you set them up. Making sure you have a 1.1 is very important. If you're gonna breed them, you need a boy and a girl. I didn't find them that difficult. They kind of settled in right away and grew very, very quickly. And now they're starting to mate and lay eggs for me. So
I mean, I feel compatibility is a big thing sometimes, right?
Yeah.
When it comes to so maybe what I want to ask you, John, is if there's somebody there's certain species of snakes that you get into and they say, well, make sure you get like an extra male or something something to kind of make the competition flowing. Yeah. Is it ever like that with the monitors? Like, do you ever feel like it's smart to have an extra male in case, or even 2.2 or something like?
It is, especially, well, I don't know about that with the lace, because my pairs are set up 1.1 and they're away from each other. So they're across the room from each other. So you can't see it here, but there's a 1.1 behind us, and then there's a 1.1 in front of me. They never interact with each other. Those males are separated. The females are separated. But in dealing with dwarf monitors, it is important to have extra males. Can't just have like a whole, a harem of females and one male. Better to have extra males. Some males don't work out. Some females won't mate with certain males, especially with the Ackies. So having a ready to breed male to swap out is very important.
I mean, we could kind of compare some things that are happening now. I mean, for instance, Mason Barnes. Shout out to Mason Barnes, right? He's a really big influencer in the game, and he has a lot of your productions, right?
He does. He has the first 2 I have hatched.
Yeah, and I gotta say, man, Mason is somebody where like I got my lace monitors and I saw he got them. I was pissed. I was like, this motherfucker. Who the fuck is this kid? I mean, obviously, I met Mason after a while, and I'm a big fan of Mason. Mason's my boy, and he's awesome. He really loves the monitors. And honestly, any influencer who loves the animals as much as Mason does, I'm so cool with them being influencers and working with animals. But
he texts me 2-3 times a week, and he's always so excited about his lace monitors.
It's so genuine too. Like, it's just like he's happy to be in the position he is at the age he's at, and it's kind of like Andrew. Andrew is a young guy, Andrew for years, and kids in this position to be working with. I mean, I came into this lifestyle in my 30s. Yeah. I mean, I'm happy I didn't come into this lifestyle in my early 20s. I probably would have fucked it off. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well,
I just wasn't there mentally. Partying. So when I meet people like Mason, people like Andrew, people like Stephen Cush. Yeah. They're like, wow, like, how old are you? And it's like, feel like you're that old at all. I feel like you're older. You know what I mean? But I feel like the animals do something with that. Like there's something, you can't be immature and you can't be an immature punk and expect to have people like you hook, like sell you a lace monitor. No punks.
Well, I was that guy.
Really?
Well, yeah, I go back with monitors, into my teens.
So you, I'm
not going to tell you how old I am, but it was in the early 90s.
So you sold to whoever the fuck you wanted to sold to, then basically.
Well,
because it was different. Well, so this is the point I was getting at.
You saw that?
Yeah, I was a gnat. But social media influence, right? Like, I mean, it's so much not easier to sell yourself, but to know who you're selling it to and what they're doing with it.
Yeah.
Back then, it wasn't like that. You don't know who the hell you're selling to.
No.
Didn't really matter because they had the money, and keeping reptiles costs money. So
you're right. No, honestly, people probably don't know this. I've been involved in monitor lizards since a long time ago.
Yeah.
I didn't start hatching eggs or breeding monitors until like 2007. So it's really not that long ago. I'm still learning every day. Like,
wait, so 2007 you said?
Yeah.
That's a long time ago.
No, it wasn't.
That's almost 10 years ago.
It's really, but it's not though. It's not that long ago.
You know what's
this people that are watching right now that are like, they think that black dragons have been around all this time. Black dragons weren't around in 2005. There wasn't any black dragons around in the pet trade in 1999. They just weren't.
At all?
No, they didn't come around until like 2008.
But when did you know about them?
What did I know about them?
Like, I mean, okay, like when did you start kind of even putting thought into the black dragon? And stuff
Here's
like
what
that?
happened.
I'm curious.
In 1992, Robert Sprackland came out with a book called Giant Lizards. I opened up the book. I was like, this is the greatest fucking book I've ever seen in my life, just because there really wasn't any monitor lizard information in books available to anybody. Here's this book called Giant Lizards. I'm flipping through the pages. I'm seeing monitors I've never known before. This is 1992. I was like 18, 17. I see a black dragon in the book. I'm like, I need that lizard. So I'm kind of limited. There was no internet back then. So I'm asking pet shops, hey, can you find me this? It's called the Khomeini water monitor. It's the jet black water monitor. No, sorry, can't find it. So, but I was networking and asking and made friends with people that are, that were into monitor lizards and connected.
Right.
I didn't find the black dragon in the 90s. I just didn't. But I found the first sulfurs that
Did
came
you find
in.
who even had a black dragon in the 90s? Like, did you know of
you want
somebody?
to laugh? There was a guy in Long Island with the same last name as me with a black dragon. I was like, what the fuck has my last name?
Is your last name Adranya? Or
It's Adranya, yeah.
I told you. I don't
The
know.
G and the N rolled together like lasagna, bologna, the G and the N in Italian, it kind of.
I want to name the
It's a
person who was
yes
arguing about that, but I knew your last name was Adranya. Like, I
Yeah,
knew
it's Adranya.
Right. So, but going back to what I was saying is like, being sought after for something that was not even attainable, but you knew a person. Had them.
Yeah.
It was almost like, is it similar to a Komodo dragon? Like back then?
Well, it was so rare and nobody knew anything about it. I didn't know what it was. I just knew it was a black water monitor. But in the search for the black dragon, which was then called Khomeini, which is a pet trade name.
Right.
It wasn't a species name. It was a species name, but it became a junior synonym. It's a long story, but it's just a black variant of macro.
So 07 was when you got
2007. The first imported ones came in,
and you had some of those.
I didn't. At that point, I had started building up a dwarf monitor collection, and I didn't get any black dragons.
Okay.
I wanted them though, but I had sulfurs.
Right.
Back then, and they're to this day still my favorite water monitor.
I will say, I was kind of keen to sulfurs, but there was one guy in specifically who worked with sulfurs and did a great job with them. Still does. Uncle Mike Stefani.
Oh yeah.
What a guy. Cheers
Mikey.
to you, buddy. You're the guy, Mike.
Paisan Mikey.
Man, what a guy.
By the way, MJ brought over a nice bottle of wine. Actually, two. This is the second bottle.
Second bottle, yeah.
Yeah, I'm feeling good.
Right? We're feeling great. But the sulfurs, man. Sulfurs is, what a beautiful, high yellow contrast animal. Something that pops.
Here's the funny thing with the sulfurs. So 1993, the sulfurs, there was 4 animals that came in. I got one of them. I paid $600. I was 19. It was the most expensive lizard. This was the most expensive thing I ever bought back then. All my cars were $300 junkers. I bought a $600 lizard. My girlfriend thought I was nuts at the time. And nobody knew what it was. You look in any reptile book, nobody could tell you what a sulfur was. There wasn't even a hint of what it was. And it wasn't until like maybe 3 years ago I actually found the actual locality of the sulfur. But it is a very unique and strange genetic morph because it's a pattern and color morph.
Yeah.
It lives in an area with normal water monitors, but for some reason they're this sulfur color, and they develop belly bands and they lose their temple stripe, and they get
yellow.
banded instead of ocellide, and their neck stripes become bands and not striped, which is the, really the name behind the Javan water monitor is Vividatus, which means two stripe. That's the neck stripe. Am I rambling? Yeah.
No, dude, I've never heard of this. I'm like, bro, I never knew the meaning behind this shit. This is awesome.
The sulfur gene is unique. It's a strange thing because it's a pattern and color gene. And they're still to this day one of my favorite lizards. Not just because I had one for 17 years and it was my favorite lizard of all time, and I'd give this all up to get that one back.
What? All of this?
I fucking love that lizard. It was the greatest lizard in the world.
What happened to it?
She lived until I couldn't keep her alive anymore.
How old was she?
17.
I mean, let's talk about a good age.
I'm sure.
Is that a good age to if you?
No,
I mean, that's not. So it should be older. It should have been older than that.
Should have been older. My fault.
Wow.
I did way too much free roaming in my apartment at the time, or in my house when I lived with my mom when I first got her. Too much free roaming in like 60s temperature. Too much of that leads to gout, leads to joint problems, leads to mobility problems as they get older.
Too much what? One more time. Too much
gout.
What was causing the too much gout? What'd you say?
The low temperatures. She wasn't able to metabolize her food.
She wasn't getting heat hot enough.
She wasn't getting hot enough. She wasn't metabolizing a nutrient that she would eat.
Okay.
So they develop gout, and it affects their joints. It gets crystals built into their joints. Is that why
you keep lights on 24/7?
I keep lights on 24/7 for a number of reasons.
But would that be maybe one of them? Because you don't ever have to worry about that shit?
I don't have gout because I have high temperature. Well, I don't have high temperatures. I have high ambient temperatures.
Right.
I don't shut my lights down in this basement. I don't shut the lights at all. In the backyard room, there's another monitor room. I shut the lights at night in the spring through the fall, but not in the winter because that room gets too cold. But I keep the lights on. Am I moving my hands around a lot?
Dude, you're good. You stop. You're good.
Okay. It's that Italian.
Yeah, your hands are good.
If you hold my hands, I'm like,
I don't know what to do with my hands right now.
Stop.
No, you're good, buddy. You're good.
Okay.
You're good.
How was I saying?
We were talking about. Hold on. See this. You can't do this.
Okay.
Anymore.
Oh yeah. So
I
leave the lights on 24/7.
Yeah, leave the lights on. Right.
I do because they have the ability to. All right. For instance, water monitors in the wild. So the water monitor is the second biggest lizard in the world. It's a very large lizard, especially the adults. They get 75 pounds. Some of the big ones out of Sri Lanka. They're huge. But even in say like Java or Sumatra, these big lizards spend the nights in the water, and then the water is 90 degrees. Whereas if they crawled out and stayed on land, the temperature would drop into the 70s.
High 70s.
It would force them to bask longer in the morning.
Right.
But if they're coming out of the water in the morning at a 90-degree temperature, they are ready to go. They're ready to hunt. They don't have to spend all this time waiting for the sun to come out.
There's no downtime.
There's no downtime.
It's ready to rock.
Whereas Bengal monitors, Dumerils monitors, ruticolous, black roughnecks.
Bengal monitors? What's a Bengal monitor?
It's another species that's not allowed to be imported into the United States.
So nobody has Bengal monitors here?
Not anymore. They were captive bred by Danny Gorman, rest his soul.
Rest in peace.
He was breeding them in the 90s in Long Island. And it's another large Southeast Asian lizard.
Hey guys, listen, we got my buddy right here, South Bay Josh, in the building. He's about to get the super chats up and cracking because listen, John's going to be dropping some heavy knowledge, and lace monitors aren't cheap. Let's get the damn super chats going right now. Let's get them cracking. There's things I want to buy from him. Let's keep it going. Josh, thanks for being here, buddy. I don't know. A lot of people have the idea of and this is one thing I want you to tap in about because night cycling, right? Like the fact that there's 24/7 light. Yeah. There are options for them to go dark if they want. And that's what's important. Like they're not just to be cooler.
Right. They're not just exposed to lights, 24/7. When they want to hide in the dark. What? I'm sorry, my daughter is yelling at me from afar. Okay, thank you. I will.
What'd she say?
It's just funny. I will. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. Thank you.
There we go. Thank you, Josh. I appreciate that. Yeah. Let's keep this shit cracking, guys. Shout out to my boy Josh.
So, you know, if they want to go hide in a dark area, it's available to them. They're not always exposed to lighting and heat, but if it's always available to them. So if they're coming out of hiding, they don't have to bask all day to reach optimal temperature.
Right.
This wine is getting to me.
No, you're good. No, you're good, buddy. You're good.
I'm having a good time. All right.
I'm
So
having an
what was I
awesome time.
saying? Oh yeah. So
Temperature.
The ambient in my cages is always pretty high. I mean, in the wintertime, this room cools down a lot. It helps with cycling these lace monitors because that winter break, you know, I feed a little bit less, and you know, they start to mate in the spring. You know, it's that nice not a brumation, but it's a cool down period. I don't have to feed as much, but our New Jersey weather has been so mild.
But they're still breeding now.
They're still, yeah. They
It
were
ain't
just
stopping.
he was just trying.
He was all
He's
over.
been trying for 2 days.
Yeah.
Well, she's like stopping and lifting her tail, and they
She's
could
teasing
be locking up when I'm at work. I
Yeah.
have cameras, but I can only see the nest box right now.
Right.
So I probably should set up another camera, right, John? So you know, it would be good to know. But I don't always see the copulation. I'm not always home for it, but I can read what she's doing and then adjust to that. Like if she stops eating and she's really full and, you know, like sleeping in the cool side of the cage a lot, and I know she's probably gravid, that's when I'll lock the male into his side of the cage. You know, he has his own cage, and I just, you know, coax him over with a mouse or a chick and be like, hey, come on into your cage, and then I'll shut the door behind him.
Right.
This way he's locked into his own cage and he won't bother her anymore, and she can lay her eggs in relatively stress-free environment, you know, nice without a male bothering her, because he'll try to bang her, you know, all the time. And most of the time she don't want anything to do with him, but right now she likes him, and she'll only do this when she's receptive.
I want to talk about a little bit of a controversial topic here because, you know, there was God bless the retic community, the reticulated python community. God bless them all.
Yeah.
But I got to say that there was somebody in the retic community who put out a video who basically said that snakes won't produce, or snakes won't breed if they're in terrible conditions, you know. And then you have somebody like Eric Lee who's like actually like, no, snakes, it doesn't matter what the conditions are. If snakes want to breed, they'll breed. What is that? What is your opinion when it comes to monitors? Like, do you feel like some people breed monitors in shitty conditions and they get away with it, or do you feel like that's just a recipe for disaster?
Yes.
Something will go wrong eventually.
Yes.
Like, because I feel like, you know, one thing that I'm happy to not be a part of when it comes to this shit is no more shortcuts. Like, John,
Yeah.
how many times have I bugged you,
Yes.
asked you, and
So
then
many
and then I
times
talk to
bugged
Andrew,
you.
and Andrew's like, oh, he needs multiple basking. I'm like, John, Andrew said he needs
James.
multiple basking. And you said, no, they'll share it. And it's like, dude, what do I do? What's wrong and right? You know what I mean? But
MJ, you've been texting me and calling me like crazy. No, you haven't. First of all, it's fine. And most of my friends on Instagram that message me, I try to answer you within moments, because otherwise you know, and you know who you are, right? You know who you are. Whichever 25 of you that are watching right now, you guys message me every day, and I answer you right away.
People watching. There's probably like 70
Okay,
of
there's
them.
probably 75 people a day I'm answering monitor questions. I try to answer as fast as possible. So
Look at Mason Barnes coming through with the
I love you,
$50 super chat.
thank you, Mason.
Mason, this will go to shipping for the next Super Bells that you buy from John. Okay, how about that?
Thank you,
I'm
Mason.
gonna go ahead and take care of the
I'm
shipping
gonna
on that.
save one for you. It's right next to me. I'll show you later.
But please, guys, seriously, Josh, South Bay Josh, and Mason Barnes,
Thank you, Josh.
two of the coolest, youngest influencers in the game. Go give them a follow. I really respect what they have going on. And Mason, thank you so much. I appreciate it. But yeah, you know, listen, I want to kind of, what were we just talking about?
Okay, we were talking about lace. We were talking about the
the conditions.
right.
Right. Okay.
Okay.
I mean, and I want to.
So these are not snakes.
Right.
Right. This is basically the equivalent of a reptilian mammal. This is a thinking lizard. This is the thinking person's reptile. This is a reptile that is heat activated, apex predator, not like an ambush predator. You know, this is an animal that goes out and has to figure shit out to catch its food. You know, this is a fucking intelligent animal.
No. Yeah.
Right? Just because I'm hand feeding it chicks doesn't take
make
away
it
from
stupid.
that.
Yeah. No shit. I gotta tell you, you know, that's the one thing about these monitors, and I mean, I always knew monitors were smart, you know, but monitors are a lot smarter than people kind of take them for, you know, and especially people who go from snakes to monitors. People who kind of tend to have it down with snakes, and they think, well, I want to get into a monitor. They don't realize the attention to detail that comes into play with things like this.
Oh yeah.
Especially when you have more than one, right?
Yeah.
Especially if you want to breed.
Yeah.
Like and here's the thing, everybody wants to breed nowadays.
Yes.
Nobody just wants one of anything.
Right.
They need a pair.
You have to.
But the thing is,
It's a good thing.
But talk about the jump of responsibility when it comes to just being a pet owner to a breeder. It's a huge jump.
It's a huge jump. Because if you're gonna breed them, you gotta sell them.
Right.
Because you can't keep them all.
Right.
Even if it's Ackies. Because eventually, within like month number 2, the babies start to fight. If it's like a bunch of boys in the same cage, you're gonna have to move them. You're gonna have to sell them. Who are you selling them to? You have to deal with the public. You know.
We're back. Sorry about that. We're back. Go continue, please, John.
MJ pulled the plug.
I pulled the plug. I said, God damn it.
Yeah, he's cursing too
Not
much.
enough super chats, man. Fuck
What
this
the hell was
shit.
I saying?
I don't know. I feel so bad now.
Oh, we're down to what? 2 people?
No,
watching?
it's
Okay.
two. That's 2 loves. We're
Oh,
76.
only
We're good.
2 loves?
No,
terrible.
that's 2 people on Facebook. So there's
Oh,
Facebook
okay.
people, and then
Yeah.
there's fucking YouTube people. So
All right, thank you.
Okay,
Thank you, Mason Barnes. Look at him.
Yeah,
he's a
freaking
freaking amazing guy.
He's a gem.
He really is.
As John says, if John calls you a gem, you're in the game.
Oh
can tell you
yeah,
that
I love
much.
him.
Yeah.
If I could, I'd adopt him.
Yeah.
I could, you know, imagine me with a kid like. Imagine I had a kid that grew up to be as tall as Mason.
I mean, personality-wise, Natalie is going to be as tall as.
Natalie's gonna take
She's a
over
monster,
everything.
bro.
She is for an
Yeah.
8-year-old.
Yeah.
She's
What's crazy is
crazy.
like I feel like she's right there next to your pocket, wanting to learn whatever
She
Dad has to
is.
say. She's like, what?
She knows
She's all
everything.
ears, bro.
She knows everything. She knows who's gravid, who's gonna lay eggs, when.
Right.
She knows who's a male, who's a female, who's mating. She understands like she doesn't really know the whole ins and outs basically of
Right.
copulation, but
Right.
she knows what mating is because they're kind of like, tails are intertwined. She's
But back to the as far as conditions and whatnot, we were talking
Yeah.
about like the fact that some people are like, it doesn't matter what the conditions are, they'll still breed. Other people are like, no, hold on, they have to be in a good place and the right time for them to breed.
yeah.
Monitors overall throughout the years, what has been your evolved, like how have you evolved into putting enclosures like this, or they've always been enclosures like this?
Well, I they weren't always like this. They looked worse. They actually look pretty good right now. I've upgraded the windows.
Would you say worse by smaller or
Just
Just
they
all
were
together.
built like crap. I was using like melamine and like plexiglass windows and shit. So as I got older and made a little bit more money, I could invest in good windows and better cages. Actually, these cages behind us and the ones over here, these are 10 years old. I'm just constantly putting new shit in them. They look new, but they're not new.
right?
The frame is old, and they're not made of PVC. They're made of wood.
Right.
Everybody's on that PVC kick, but for me to build this out of PVC would have cost me like 10 grand.
And I want to say shout out to my sponsor, Focus Cube Habitats, who I can tell you right now is the #1 PVC enclosure in the game. I mean, come on, John. If they wanted to build you, if they wanted to build you something prototype for you,
Yeah,
that's PVC. You take it.
absolutely.
Right.
I have PVC cages. There's 20 of them outside in the other room.
So as I'm saying, like, let's just say,
I don't have a focus cube, but I might need one.
what's that home makeover show, like where like they go and read you homes and stuff like that. So
Oh yeah,
what,
yeah, yeah.
let's just say like you had a millionaire who's like, John, I want to redo this in any way you want.
Come on in.
Would you? But let me ask you this: if money was not an option, and money was an issue, somebody
Yeah.
wanted to redo it all for you,
Yeah.
would you go all PVC?
Yes.
Everything?
No.
No.
Yes.
Come on, which one is it?
I would go PVC because A, it doesn't rot. It's easy to work with. It cuts like wood.
Right.
It looks cool.
Looks clean.
It's clean. It insulates well.
Right.
This is all wood, and this is like, cheap shit. This is 2x3s and cheap plywood, and I just literally cover everything in like cork
looks
bark
good,
and
though. Like, I mean,
and
like,
laminate.
It looks put together.
There's some FRP. That shit is so old. I bet you that's from the 90s.
Is
these
that
pieces of FRP.
so that's just drilled over actual wood?
Yeah.
Okay, so that makes it look like it's drywall or something.
Yeah,
Or
no,
a
it's
wall.
that FRP is fiberglass reinforced plastic that keeps the substrate, the damp substrate, from destroying the wood.
Got it.
Okay, so
Eating it out.
Right. So
right.
the seams are all silicone sealed, and the FRP keeps it from the wood from rotting. But with PVC, you don't need any of that. You could just cover your freaking cage in cork or rock wall.
Let me
If
ask.
I had the money, I would do a lot more rock wall work. My friend Guy Montecalvo, he's doing rock wall work. Oh my god,
But that's just not cheap.
not cheap, not easy, but it's beautiful.
But like, okay, for instance, you do have corkwood where they could still grip the corkwood, right? But the idea is a ledge, like some sort of ledges or what, like something for them to just
The whole idea is these cages are only 664s each one. This one's a 963, and the other one next to it is a 663. The idea with the cork on the wall is to give them another dimension of the cage. Instead of crawling around on the fucking floor like a lizard, now they could climb like they're supposed to. These are arboreal tree climbing lizards.
They need to be able to go down and up.
They could go down, up, across, like this ledge here, and those over there. It's meant to keep them off the ground. It adds another dimension to the cage volume. Instead of just a 644 footprint, they can now go up. It's another dimension. You know what I mean?
Right.
It makes your cage much bigger if you allow them to climb. It's also warmer at the top than at the bottom,
Right. I mean, I do want to kind of talk about what your preferred basking recommendations would be for almost any monitor at this size. I mean, I do see. Normally there's 2 lights up there.
Yeah, I told you
one
what
got knocked out, right?
Yeah, there's 2 lights over there.
Right, so 2 and 2. So 2 and 2.
Yeah.
And as much as we were talking about weather and what the conditions are currently where you're at in Jersey, you don't eliminate any light. Like there's still 2 light basks on all the time.
Yeah.
And the reason behind it is because you're telling me that they could tell they don't need a temperature change down here because they can already tell what's already out there. Is what you're saying?
Okay, let me explain.
Please.
The ambient in this room is pretty high year round. They do feel the temperature change from the outside atmosphere. So like in our winters when it's like 20 and 30 degrees, they feel it, even though the basement is, still relatively warm. Like this room is in the 70s, like where we're sitting in the wintertime, but they still feel it. They could feel the barometric pressure. They could feel the humidity drop. Like our winters are dry and the air is dry. As soon as March rolls around and becomes the early spring, they feel that humidity rise. They feel the temperature rise in this room, and they start to mate. And that goes for everything in this room and the one in the backyard room that you saw with all the Ackies. My big seasons start in March, February and March.
Right.
And they start to mate and lay eggs in March, April, May, and June. My summers are so damn hot outside in that room, in the Ackie room, that I don't get eggs in the middle of summer. So from like July, August, and September, October, nothing. And then our winters, they have that nice, cool down a little bit, November, December, January. And then they feel it in February and March. It starts to come back up, especially late February. You notice the animals.
What's crazy happening here on the East Coast, and shout out to Gary Shavino, somebody else that I got to hang out with since I've been here so far. What a good guy. But Gary was also like he has snakes that need to be cooled down. He has Savu pythons. He has diamond pythons, and even he said he's like, why? Like we're going through a crazy heat wave. Like it's like everything keeps getting pushed back.
Yeah.
So like normally he'd be cooling down right now, but it's not cold enough yet.
Yeah.
So how much of that do you feel like might become an issue for us at some point, or maybe for people on the East Coast?
It could be global warming. I don't know. It could be our winters are becoming more mild. We have yet to see. I mean, it's only December 8th right now, 9th.
Right.
It's very early in our winter. It's not even winter time.
February when we really know, right?
Yeah. If we're in the 60s in January, there's a big problem.
Right.
Because January in New York and New Jersey, Pennsylvania is fucking freezing. It's 20s, teens, 30s at the most.
I could give you I'm gonna give you a lot of props on so many things that you do for this hobby. But one thing I love seeing at a show I go to is the sim container booth. When I see a sim container booth, I'm like, oh my!
Thank you.
Because guess what? People talk about it. Like, did you go to Sims? Did you see John's? Did you see Alex?
I try to have.
You know,
something
by the way, we don't
exciting.
see Alex. I never see Alex at a show.
I don't see Alex.
Alex,
either.
I would love. Let me know, Papa. I'll sponsor it. Come on through, buddy. Let me just let me have you next to John.
I
That'd be
told
great.
him, I was like, if you go to Pomona, I'll fly in.
Come on.
You want to come to Pomona? I was like, I'll fly in. I don't know. If he flies in, I'll delta all my
I heard
shit
he's
over
pretty
there.
heavy in the soccer game. Like he
a-
loves soccer.
He's a fucking soccer coach. Tired of it.
But-
Tired of it.
I mean, but on with that being said, shows are a lot of work, man. Like, fuck,
It's
like,
exhausting.
It's exhausting,
Especially when it's across the country, 3,000 miles, and I got a schlub. You know?
Where you
You know
got-
what a schlub is?
no. What's
When I got to
schlub?
fucking delta all my animals. That was me.
Yeah.
Delta all my animals, make sure nobody dies, so that I'm up all fucking night worrying about them. Then I gotta get all my supplies over there, and then I'm gonna leave fucking extension cords and surge protectors home and not at the show, so I'm gonna panic.
Right.
Especially that far, I get really. Alex is always like laid back, calm. Everything's gonna be fine, John. Don't worry about it. And if you don't sell anything, who cares? This is how he is. He's very like so fucking. And
Whatever
me,
happens, man.
yeah, and I'm like a
That's
heart attack.
That's that Bay Area fucking vibe, man. Like just
Sorry.
fucking like whatever, man.
And I'm like, holy shit, the world's ending. I left the extension cord home in New Jersey.
But
in
I mean,
my
honestly,
bag.
man, leaving just an extension cord will fuck up my day too. Because I
Yes.
mean, it's like now we have to go ask somebody and be an asshole.
Yeah. You know what? He had the fucking Alex, man. Last March Tinley, he's like, dude, your setup, you got all these PVC pipes holding up your banner. That's so like, ghetto.
You know
I
one
was
thing.
like, shut the fuck up. What did I do? The next day, I ordered a whole fucking banner set up with aluminum poles and everything. I'm like, all right, it looks much better.
I know it's one thing for sure. I don't want to
I
see.
ain't getting rid of all this PVC. That's expensive.
One thing I don't want to see is this guy cry, bro. So listen,
Who?
Mason Barnes. He's saying
Oh.
he's gonna physically
If I'm not
cry
at-
if you're not at
oh.
Pomona.
Mason, I'll do it. All right, I'll
Please.
fly in.
And then there's Pomona in August for Trap Fest. You were one of my celebrity appearances for Trap Fest this year.
Really? I just
Yeah.
came out of the San Diego Zoo.
No, man. Well, yeah. With the way you stumbled in with your family, you guys were animals.
I was thrilled. There was tacos. There was,
loved it.
It was great.
It was honestly a great feeling to have you. You chopped it with my dad for a minute. Like
Yeah.
it was a good time, man.
I saw a llama. What is that?
Alpacas.
An alpaca.
Why do you have to say that for, John? Llama. It's like me calling this a fucking goddamn Nile monitor.
It
Why
is.
would you do that?
It isn't that one. What the fuck? I just painted white bands across its back. It's not the same.
It's spray painted. Leave it alone.
It's a it is a Nile monitor.
But I kind of want to go back to the topic of shows going in 2023. If
Okay.
it all goes your way, how many shows are you looking to attend? What's the goal line
okay.
shows in 2023?
First, my local show that I like to do is Hamburg, Pennsylvania, which is
just happened. Like
just
a week
happened.
ago, right?
It's not a very high end show. You might catch mites if you go in there, even if you're just walking around. You might get ticks and mites. I'm not gonna put,
not
I'm
good.
not gonna lie about that. But all my friends are there. I love that show. It's a 1 day show. I'm in and out, and it only takes me 2 hours to drive out. But after that, I got Tinley in March, right?
Yep.
I'll probably wind up back in the Houston.
What about Arlington?
I never did Arlington, but I'm doing
February in
the
Arlington.
Houston
Houston?
Reptilian Nation show.
What?
Yeah,
How you
I
gonna
did
do
that
that?
last year.
How you gonna do that? Not NARBC Arlington.
All right, I'll go to Arlington.
I'm just telling you, buddy. Like Arlington, people are gonna be waiting for you there.
Really?
Yes.
Like with baseball bats?
No. Did you fucking rip people off or what?
No. But all right, I'll go. I know everybody
I
keeps telling me go to Arlington. Go. To
I
Arlington.
can't
said,
listen.
"No, go to
I've
Arlington."
never been to a reptilian. I don't think I've been to a reptilian show or a Repticon or I just know the shows I do go to, which we've been at, and ARBCs, super shows. They all smack. They all hit.
All right.
No disappointments there.
No. Maybe St. Louis.
St. Louis, NARBC,
I did that twice.
Daytona.
I love Daytona.
But
It's
you
my
go
favorite
as
show.
a spectator there. You don't vend.
I vend.
Oh, you've been to Daytona.
I vend. I've been vending for
Okay.
10 years over there.
That's not easy to
Maybe
do.
more.
Like
No,
you
I
have
gotta
to
bring
you have
everything
to be in. Like, but what I'm saying, like to get a table at Daytona is not easy to get. Like
Well,
you have to be.
It's not hard to get. You just, mail your check to Wayne. The problem is Florida Fish and Wildlife requires an import permit because you're importing your animals into the state of Florida. So they want to know how it's getting there, what your car is, what your license plate is, how much gas you fucking pay. They want to know what your mother's maiden name is. They want to know everything. They want to know in the application process for the CITES 3. They want to know, even if you live out of state, they want to know where you keep your gloves, where do you keep a fire extinguisher, if there is a fire, what's your means of escape, if there's a flood, what's your means of escape. And I give them exactly what I would have. I have the fire extinguisher in the other room. If it's a flood, I back up all my animals in totes and I drive away.
Right.
You know, I leave before the flood starts. And they want to know this before they issue my class 3. But I do that show because I love it.
Is there any
Plus, it's the only show I could go to and then go to the beach afterwards.
I mean, I heard Daytona's a time. I heard it's like
You haven't been?
No,
Oh, it's a great show.
I mean, I wasn't okay this year. I didn't go because I was supposed to be at Ari Flagwell's wedding.
Oh,
Shout out
right.
to Ari Flagwell. I couldn't make it, unfortunately. The year before that, I got my accident with the what,
Right.
and so this year this coming year Daytona is gonna go down for sure.
You get bit by a tokay gecko.
Yeah, that's what it was. It was
Put you
a
out of
monster
commission.
tokay.
Monster
Actually, no, it was a
tokay.
lace monitor. Okay.
Well, close enough.
Shut up. No, it wasn't. I swear.
It was.
Okay.
Definitely.
Okay,
Definitely
I'm gonna
was.
kind of jump. I'm gonna jump fucking positions here and kind of switch things to another level because we're talking about Daytona. The week after Daytona, moving forward now, there's another event.
Yeah.
Brian Barczyk's event, Animal Con.
Okay, that was the week after the Daytona show.
I mean, that's probably one of the biggest because I didn't go to Ari's. I wasn't able to, right?
Mhm.
But I was supposed to go to Ari's and straight to Animal Con. I went to Animal Con, which is, like I said, the weekend right after Daytona. Animal Con is thrown by Brian Barczyk, which is mainly for influencers. I mean, I want to say mainly you're a breeder, but you are a huge influencer too. Okay, I just want to know what your head's at if it ever came down to you getting an invitation to an event like Animal Con, where you don't go display animals, you don't have a booth, you just go to be there, maybe a panel where you're asked questions. How do you feel about stuff like that? Getting yourself exposed to people who aren't really breeders, but influencers, YouTubers.
Mm-hmm. Well, I would go. I'd probably have a great time.
Yeah, you always have a good time.
Yeah, you make the best of it.
But I feel like you embrace YouTubers and influencers.
Absolutely.
Like you're not somebody to shut down the. You know what I mean?
No, I'm not. I don't have much of a social media presence outside of Instagram. I don't have much of of a YouTube page, but I don't. I wouldn't. I don't have any
thing against them.
Right. Like a lot of my YouTube friends are young up and coming superstars,
right,
in the reptile world, like Mason.
No, Mason is killing it. Mason, yeah. I mean, Mason is probably a superstar in the reptile game, and for sure, because I mean, listen, one thing about Mason, which I put mad respect on his name, is anyone I respected on that level of influencers fuck with Mason, and Brian Barczyk being one of them. Brian Barczyk, is somebody that I've looked up to throughout this entire time, and I don't know, like you have people that are easy to kind of, red flags are easy to spot in my eyes. Like I know when I see someone else like that, that's not genuine,
Yeah.
And so I just know that for somebody who's as important, like think about it, like Mason is an influencer where you're his biggest mentor in the monitor game, and that is something that sticks.
Thank you, Mason.
Yeah, that sticks with him. Like we talk about. I talked to Mason. And Mason would ask me about my own monitors before he even asked about me. Like, you know what I mean? Like he's like, "Hey, how's Alice doing?" and shit like that. I'm like, "God damn it, Mason, what about me, bro?" But he's just all about it. And but I mean, where does the line really draw? Like, obviously, we're talking about red flags, right? Where do you feel like a YouTuber influencer is kind of crossing the line? Like in your eyes, like have you seen content yet where you're like, "What the fuck is that all about?"
Well, I know why they're doing.
I got to take this while you're talking about this. So. Go in debt with this way.
Wait, you're really gonna go pee?
I gotta piss really bad. Yeah.
There's a slop sink over there. Don't go all the way upstairs. It's too far away.
Okay, go ahead.
I can't believe this. And make sure you turn your back. I don't want to see any weenies. I can't handle that.
Wait, where?
Yeah, just
Are
move.
You serious?
What's in there?
There's a bucket of fucking chicks.
Oh no! Don't do that. Here,
just go, Charles.
Go upstairs. Okay, so. Oh my god. So he's going upstairs to go take a pee. He wants me to talk about the state of these YouTubers that are, doing these wild things. I'm not opposed to it. I mean, some of it where they're getting bit in the face, I'm a little bit like, it doesn't really help our situation, you know. Like a lot of people are trying to shut down us pet keepers. You know, I would like to keep that to a minimum, but who the hell am I to say anything? I mean, I tell certain people how I feel, but you know, a lot of those guys are my friends. You know, they message me all the time, so I just feel this is so weird talking to a camera and there's nobody here. I just want you to know that. But yeah, you probably won't ever see me getting bit in the face by a lizard on purpose or not on purpose. I'm not really hands-on with them like some people are. Like if Scar behind me or any of these other big lace here decided to, you know, bite my face or, you know, for like shock value, I'd probably bleed a lot, need stitches. You know, I wouldn't be as cute as I used to be. Here comes MJ, thank God.
You good?
I'm just rambling. This wine is so good. Gotta say, he brought over 2 bottles of Pinot Noir. This is good. This is good.
Yeah,
This is so
I don't ever
tasty.
disappoint.
You're probably.
We're good. Oh, look, Gary Shabino. Whoa, Gary. Look, this is for John's Southern accent. You have a Southern accent.
No, I have a New York accent.
So it's okay.
Who's saying that?
That's Gary Shabino.
Oh, Gary. Wow, thank you. I couldn't even attempt a Southern accent. It doesn't come out the way I would want it to.
So
Nothing convincing anyway. So I just said that how I felt about influencers that are doing shock value videos,
right?
And how I feel about them. Like, well, a lot of them are my friends, and we follow each other on Instagram, and I wouldn't want anything bad to happen to them. I don't like seeing them get bit in the face or get bit in any way just for followers or just for for what it is. But I understand why they're doing it. You know?
Right.
I don't really. I wish they wouldn't do it, but who the fuck am I?
Well, I mean, at the end of the day, like, let's talk about something. That'd be good. Thanks, Andrew. Appreciate it. But like, okay, here's one thing, John. I appreciate how going back to how you're busy, right? Like you're an individual who's busy, but YouTube, you have information that could do really good at YouTube.
Yes.
But YouTube is a lot of work.
YouTube's a lot of work.
And you started YouTube. Like that's something you did crack off. And I wanted to tell you, like, when did you stop putting content out on YouTube?
Well, I have one video on YouTube.
That's it?
That's it.
What the heck? One video?
Yeah, it's awesome.
When did you do that?
2 years ago. Maybe? I don't even know.
So, like, you actually started it all up. You did everything, and you posted one video.
I post on Instagram, and I post on TikTok. And I rarely show my face. Not that
you love showing your face. You
have
have a really awesome face.
No, I don't show it. Nobody really knows what the fuck I look like. I don't. Like,
Natalie knows what it looks like.
Most of my posts are my lizards because that's what I'm trying to fucking show you. Nobody cares what I look like.
I think we need to stop fucking around and just introduce the real sim container. Come here, real sim container.
Oh my god.
Sit on your dad's lap so people don't think I'm weird. I can't be judged. So here we have the real sim container in the building, not the fake one. This is the real one. Natalie, you are in front of 80 people right now. What do you have to say to everyone out there?
I don't know.
Okay,
what
do you have to say to people who support your dad and people who love sim container?
Thank you.
That they're a part of our family.
Yes.
And they care for us and our lizards.
And I care for them.
How much do you care about the lizards?
I like them. They're amazing.
I mean, you pulled lizard eggs before. Let's not kid around here.
When
we can make a whole episode out of you, Natalie. 5 or 4.
5 or 4.
Right.
Mhm.
Do you want to hopefully maybe take over all this someday?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, guys, don't sleep on this girl. This is Natalie, the real sim container. High five, Natalie. Thank you so much for being here. I appreciate you so much. And have a good rest of your night. Does she have snoring?
Yeah, she's supposed to be in bed by now.
Okay.
I can't tell time offhand, but I know it's late.
She'll have enough to talk about tomorrow at school for sure.
No, she's awesome. She is next to me as soon as I get home from work, feeding, watering, digging up eggs, putting them in the sim container. What else do you do, Nat? Change water. She does it all. I'm like, I can't get my closest friends to come over and help me. I got an 8-year-old who really wants to. Like, she carries all the heavy shit out too. Like, and that's like can't say it's child labor. She really likes doing it.
Well, I mean, obviously, like, here's the thing, John. Like, I mean, I don't see any kind of forcing behind anything that she is trying to be a part of. You know what I mean? This is
she loves
natural,
it.
right?
This is a passion for her.
But I don't want to. We can't knock the wives, man. Like, the wives are everything. Your wife is obviously
She
on
puts
board.
up with me.
God bless her.
Look,
man.
just think about you now that you're here.
Yeah.
You see this room, and you see the outside room, and you see my backyard room, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's a lot of work.
It's a lot of space.
It's a lot of part of the house.
It's a lot of the wife space.
It's a lot of shit that she says, knock it down, put a pool up for me, motherfucker.
Yeah.
You know, she's tired of
Trying
it.
to live.
But I keep telling her and promising her, like, don't worry, things are gonna be great. One day, you know, we're gonna live like rock stars. We're not. But, you know, I just lie, white lies, you know, little lies.
I mean, at the end of the day, like, let's be honest. I mean, you have kids, you have a family, you're in Jersey. Do you ever see yourself at some point when the kids were older, moving to another place and making things a little bit more, I don't want to say
Indonesia.
easier. What? Don't go on Andrew Acevedo on me, buddy. That guy's trying to move to Peru
Indonesia.
right now. Like I don't want to get into details about Andrew's goals in life, but the guy really wants to leave America.
Well, look, if I go to Indonesia, I can put my animals outside, right?
Right.
They'll do just fine. They'll probably eat like more, you know, more of what the native water monitors and stuff eat. You know, I think they'll do really good out there. I won't have to screw in another freaking light bulb.
But what's crazy with Amy? Okay, look, I want to really talk about something serious with Andrew, right? Like Andrew wants to keep less and do more stuff in the wild.
I'm all for it.
You're for that?
Absolutely.
Yeah, because it's a different kind of appreciation, right?
Yeah, I'm not old, but I'm
Old enough.
getting up there.
I mean, you're seeing things.
Well, yeah, you know, eventually I'm gonna have to, you know, look, I'm still young and I don't want to fucking quit. I'm having way too much fun doing this shit, and
Right.
I have a lot of like projects that I'm working on that'll come out next year. So, you know, and I can't live without these animals.
Yeah.
You know? So that's why, you know, I'm not gonna move to fucking Indonesia. If I move out of New Jersey, I want to go someplace warm so I could do indoor-outdoor cages. Maybe California, maybe Texas.
Maybe this other $49.99 super chat.
Hey, thank you, Ricky Bobby.
This is actually the sponsor of the episode. This is Shane from Above All Scales. Thank you, Shane. We're gonna actually give this $50 to Natalie. College fund.
I
Nice.
counted all the money that you got.
Oh my
counted
gosh, really?
You got 100 and something 5.
And what am I supposed to give that to you? Okay. We'll talk about it. Hey, listen,
She has more money than any of us.
I only got $5.
Natalie, if
You have
you
more than me.
Natalie, once you breed normal laces, am I on the list? Please, can we remember this moment, Natalie? Because I understand you are gonna be it. Please remember me, not Andrew. Remember me. Andrew's gonna be in Peru making smoothies.
Is Andrew sleeping in
He is
a
sleeping.
weed coma?
Is he
right
sleeping?
now?
Can you go slap him on the face for me? Go get it. Go
Wait,
get
he's really sleeping?
I don't know.
his double jointed fingers. Go flick him. Yeah, thank you.
She's going to hit him.
She will.
She's
she
hiding
will.
up there right now. She's going to kick his ass.
So again, thank you, Shane. I appreciate the
Thank you,
super
Shane.
chats, man. What a guy. But yeah, I mean, let's talk about this. Okay. Ball python market kind of being in a position where there's people making videos about recessions and like, oh my God, like what to do. You can't sell snakes.
I know.
I mean, do you ever feel like you've ever been in that position? Because
Yeah, it's happening for me
You
too,
have.
right now.
Okay, let's talk about it.
All right. It doesn't matter if you're a ball python vendor and there's 50 other vendors at the same show as you selling similar snakes. You know, the little guys like me who have like the more eclectic collection of lizards to sell is also feeling it because not everybody has this expendable money.
Right.
Especially not at Christmas.
Right.
It comes around, you know what? Business is really good January to like June. It's like a seasonal thing for me.
Yeah.
Really good. Maybe because I'm selling egg containers and most of the eggs are being laid in spring. Maybe,
Maybe.
you know,
No.
maybe. But I tend to sell really well the first 6 months of the year.
Because
then-
of the time.
Yeah.
I
And
mean-
yeah. This year, from June to now, it's been really tough. I am making sales, but it's tougher than the years before.
Have you ever had to even put anything on Morph Market or anything like that?
I have a Morph Market account.
But do you put laces or anything on it?
I have lace on there right now.
You do have laces. And what are they priced
Absolutely.
at?
5,000.
So, and that's
Not a bad price for a
Are you
clean
kidding me?
bell.
no, that's a really good price.
Yeah.
Actually-
I have a little clean bell right here.
Why don't we pull it out now? While we're talking about this this $5,000 bell. Let's talk about this being on Morph Market for over a year, and you still can't sell it.
That's a problem.
But what do we do? Do we go lower on the price, or at what point do we At what point do we say, "Fuck it, I need to go lower"?
Well, if you have to go lower, you go lower. But look, I don't know a whole lot about ball python morphs. I don't. I'm self-admitting that. I just don't. I'm a monitor guy. Okay, there's not a whole lot of morphs out there, And there's so many ball python morphs that I don't even know what I'm looking at half the time. But I know when I see this, what I'm looking at.
This is considered a.
He just dropped my lizard on the floor.
No, we're
Discount.
Good.
Broken legs.
But this is considered a super bells, or no?
It's a pretty clean bell, is what it is.
Because Brian Waterloo hates that name, super bells.
I know.
And we had a deep conversation about that at Tinley, and I'm trying to figure out why something this clean wouldn't be a super bells. Like, why? I mean, it's gonna stay this white. Like I see stuff that's like that over here as adults.
Yeah. If you breed a regular bell to a normal lace, you get the typical bell that has like a little bit of speckling in it, a little darker shades. But if you breed bell to bell, sometimes you get things like this that pop out that are just really pale. I know it's hard to see in this camera, but there's no speckling on that white band in the middle.
Clean. It's like a pie.
It's so clean. Yeah, it looks like a pie pan.
Yeah.
And by the way, bell bellies are really cute.
They're pink.
So this one's only a few weeks old, and it's eating like a champ, and it's like constantly chunky looking. I'm waiting for it to shit in my hands, but that's nothing I'm not used
One of
to.
the most misconceptions as far as a monitor diet goes.
Yeah.
I mean, we were just talking earlier how I was like, hey, you don't suggest me feeding nothing but rats to my laces. And you're like, no, I don't. I mean, you don't do
Well,
that, right?
I don't have rats right now. I feed mice and I feed chicks.
Oh my God, Mason! He just doubled his super chat. $100
Thank
from
you,
Mason. Everyone buy bells from John. Best place to get them. Every single lace of mine came from Sim Container, and that's
Thank
not
you.
a lie.
Thank you.
That's why me and Mason's are boys. We're on the same page. Mason has more bells than me. I can tell you that much.
Yeah,
Oh,
this one's really, really cute.
Is this one available?
I don't know. I might keep it. I might sell it. What do you think I should do?
I think I want it.
Highest bidder?
I want to buy it.
You want to buy it?
Yeah.
All right.
I'll give you every super chat. No, I mean, John. Okay. We were talking about something real, right?
Yeah.
Is something as cute as this in 6 months? What?
In 6 months, it's 25 to 30 inches long. What are you trying to say here?
But people should consider that. Like people
Yeah,
don't.
they
People
get
don't.
big. This is a
People don't
fucking
understand
lizard.
how quick big these
All
things get to a certain point
All right,
where it's
yeah.
like we should consider
Yes.
the preparation. And I want to talk about that a little bit.
Okay. All right. Here's the pros and cons. Lace monitors are the best. One of the best. I'm going to say they're top 3 best big monitor to keep because they're clean. Whereas when I'm saying clean is like you don't have water to change all the time, like water monitors. Like
Because you don't give them a lot of water. Like they
they
don't need
only
a lot
need
of water.
drinking bowls. They
don't
give them
need
a
to
big
soak.
Tupperware to like a big. There's a big toad over there with water. They hardly use it. Once in a while, I'll see the female like go in and come out, and
I
like,
only
she's
see
done.
the female in there. That's right. It's
Yeah.
so funny you
They
said
come
that.
in, they come out, and they're done with the water. They drink out of it. So lace are clean in the ways that like water monitors are a messy lizard. You got to change the water every day with a water monitor.
Right.
They kind of just hang out and perch, and for the most part, they just, they're not all over the place banging off the walls like a psychotic monitor lizard that was that doesn't want to be seen like some like Doriana species or mangrove monitors might not want to be out and exposed, so they run and they get frantic. Lace kind of don't give a shit after a while, especially when they're bigger. So in that way, they're wonderful because they get a pretty good size. Like Scar is over 6 feet. Mr. Pink, my black and pink male over there,
Yeah.
he's 6 feet. They're so quiet until they fall off the branches and they crash to the ground.
Right.
They do that often.
Now, Mr. Pink, in comparisons to what's his name?
That's Scar.
Scar.
Yeah.
So Scar is,
I got him
Scar's
from
bigger.
a friend of mine who he has scars on his back from a light bulb burn. So I just started calling him Scar, and he's just a wonderful male.
So those are light scar burns on his back.
Yeah, those are floodlight burns.
From them being too close.
Not really too close. It's just
them bumping into it?
No, here it is. If you have your floodlights on and they go up to bask and they're basking too long, they will burn. Your ambient has to be high, and that's why I keep my lights on 24/7. I don't allow these cages to drop too much. You know what I mean? There's still areas of the cages that's like 70 degrees. But if I was to shut the lights and then the ambient drops to like 78 overnight, and then they have to reheat the ambient, have to reheat the lizard lizard's going to lay under those basking lights. I lost my voice. The lizard's going to lay under those basking lights way longer than it needs to because it can't heat up to its optimal temperature. So that's why I keep my ambience high. My basking temperature is not that high, like 125, 130 at the most, especially on those bulbs over there, those two.
Right.
You can't see, they're off camera. Guys, you know what? I'm probably going to do another video and I'll show you like how I set up the lights and things like that. But I don't use more than 2 lights, and they're incandescent flood bulbs.
Well, when basking's set up correctly, how long do you even see them basking for?
3 to 4 minutes.
And then they go right back,
and they're often gone. They're only heating up what they need to. They're not starting from scratch. They're already kind of warm, so they don't have to bask for too long. That's the idea.
Right.
You know, if they have to bask for fucking 30 minutes, you got a problem.
Right.
You're going to wind up with burns.
Right.
Especially with using those like par 38s
Right.
in like a cage that's 68 degrees, and you're trying to get this lizard to, you know, an optimal temperature. Like their internal temperature, they're aiming for like 90 degrees internal, 92.
And it's unfortunate because
Internal temperature.
once they get those burns, that doesn't shut off. Like
No, it's white scars and like that. It's terrible and it hurts them.
Right.
So I keep the ambience high, keep the baskings on 24/7, and I keep my ambience high because they don't need to, you know, go too far to reach that optimal
Overbask.
temperature and overbask.
Right. I didn't even know that was a thing, overbasking.
It's fucking
And
true.
you know, it's as much as it sucks for me to admit this, but my monitors have scars on their backs. It sucks.
Yeah, be careful with those. Listen,
Well, it's different now because I had them in the. I only had them in the. I had them in that focus cube. Now they're in their own different enclosure. The heat's a lot more optimal. The ambient's higher, but at first, I only
but you have to make sure they have access to the cool temperatures. They can't just your cage can't be just fucking hot. It has to have 70 degrees at the floor in at least an area that they can use to cool down. They're not always looking for 98 degrees, 130 degrees. You know, they need to. They find areas, especially when they grab it. Like the females find like these dark, cool areas. And they're like, oh my God, what the hell's wrong with her? Nothing. Right. She's just resting in a cool area, and that's what they do. They use it when they need it.
Let's kind of break down the program for Sim Container here in Jersey for John, as far as you know, because of like we just said.
I thought we were going to like 2 a.m. What
do you mean? We're not done. What do you I'm still going. What are you talking about? God damn it, John.
All right, Nat. Thank you. I'll take them out. I promise you.
So,
don't worry about it. I'll get it, babe. What time is it? You should be in bed.
No, you're good. Yeah, you should be in bed now.
Go to bed.
You're good.
Go to bed.
So, back to what was I saying before I forgot? Now I forgot again. God damn it! What were we talking about? What are you doing? Oh, we got a super chat.
Happy birthday, Sienna, 16 years old.
Who's that? Where do you see
Ellie Exotics? Happy birthday, Sienna, 16.
Where do you see your birthday at? Oh, here we go. Here. It's my daughter's birthday. Sienna's 16th birthday.
Happy birthday.
Yes.
I wish I was
16. We're actually drinking cake bread. That's what we're drinking right now.
This is really good.
This is called cake bread, just so you guys know. And we got another super chat from my boy, Unlimited Exotics. The homie, John has always been someone I looked up to in the hobby. Always answered any questions I asked. Thanks for everything.
Thank you.
Yeah. How does it feel to be this loved?
I love it. I can't believe Nick looks up to me because I'm 5'4" and he's like 6'8".
But I mean, I'm serious though, John. Like I'm stoked when I'm able to talk.
Thank you, Nick.
I'm stoked when I'm able to talk to you physically over the phone because the kind of information I need, you're able to tell me in like 2-3 sentences, and I'm like, okay, perfect.
I tell people exactly what I'm doing. Look, whatever I'm doing might not work for you.
Right.
I'm in a different fucking state. I have 4 seasons here. you might not have 4 seasons.
No.
What I do, and I'm only telling you based on what I experience,
Right.
you know, and I just try to help you, you know, change your mindset. Sometimes you have to think a little bit more, you know, not you, but people in general, especially keeping monitors. It's not like keeping a tortoise or, you know, a leopard gecko. It's a little different.
How much do you think, like, as far as thinking outside the box has helped you?
Oh my God, you have to.
Yeah.
You have to fucking think. I'm thinking when I wake up in the morning, 5:30, and I come downstairs and I start looking around, and I might need to make adjustments. It's just part of keeping monitors. You know, I might say to myself, you know what, this nesting looks a little dry. I got to add some water to it. You know, I'm constantly on top of my nesting material.
Right.
You got to be on top of your nesting areas for your females.
I mean, shit.
You having bad nesting, you're gonna lose your female, or you could lose your female. So be on top. You know, so I'm on top of shit. You gotta be. Light bulbs out. Go fucking change it. Don't be like me, John Simcontainer, who has a broken light bulb above my head.
Even though you screwed all this other shit in, or fucking, you know, made all this other shit, well, kind of.
Yeah,
screwed.
that flood bulb up there, they snapped it right out of the socket. So I have to. Thank you, Natalie. Somebody must have hit it with their tail, broke the bulb. And I have to pull the socket out of the socket. What is it? What am I talking about? You know, the part of the flood bulb.
Yeah. Well, I'm talking about like the metal
screw.
piece that gets stuck in there.
It's stuck in there.
This is one thing you guys will figure out when you have flood lamps for these monitors. They will snap the fucking lamp off and keep the metal piece in there. So you got to get in there and you got to turn it off.
So I was smart one day. You know, once in a while, I'll come up with something. See this cage over here?
Yeah.
It's 2 very normal looking dome floods that are on a cord, right?
About 12 inches.
And so if they bump into it, they just swing.
Yeah, they don't touch it.
So they don't break the bulb. But if it's a fixed bulb, they whack it with their tail, it's done.
So I should probably put dome lights then. I think like dome lights is your best bet then.
Yeah, they have metal tubes that you can do with like a pivoting.
What? Because you feel like they would hang on the cord or no?
Yeah, but they haven't.
You haven't? Okay.
No.
Listen, I do want to talk about one thing that's I feel like is super important, other than cage sizing.
Yeah.
The nesting is very huge, and I want to talk about some improper nesting techniques that you've seen in your time that you think like people kind of do by accident. Like, how do you avoid improper nesting?
Well, I've done just about every kind of nesting configuration you could think of. I had deep substrate and I have nest boxes. I'm currently on this nest box thing. Nest boxes doesn't mean it's a little box, you know. Like the ones behind me are like 27 quarts, but if I was doing like coming eye again here in this house, I would have had like much larger nest boxes. Like lace nest in smaller nest boxes easily,
right?
Very easily. Water monitors need much more space and depth.
Right, and they're big.
They're big, but even coming eye needs a deep nest. They look for that.
But what's one of the key factors about your nest boxes that you feel like is crucial for anybody? Like, is it the temperature? Is it the moisture? Is it both? Like, what is it about a nest box that you feel like it's the most thing you should have dialed about?
It should hold the burrow. If it's loose, they get frustrated and they avoid it. You know, if they start digging and it's just like loose, dry, and they just kicking shit out and it doesn't hold the burrow. If you put your hand in there and take your hand out and that thing is just, pardon me?
Like, it needs to be damp so then they could pack in their hole.
That's right.
So then their tunnel will actually be open.
That's right. They need an open tunnel. They need to be able to dig a tunnel and it'll hold together.
Without collapsing.
You could do it with really good dirt. You could do it with cocoa peat. You could do it with cocoa peat and sand mixed. You could do it with a lot of different homemade fucking Home Depot.
But keeping that not too dry is what helps with that. So you have to keep that moist at some point.
Yeah, it's got to be damp, not wet. They don't want sopping wet.
They want a little damp.
It has to be a little damp. But you know, it shouldn't be loose. As soon as it's loose and not compact, forget it. You're gonna have trouble.
How often are you having to damp the soil? Like, do you have to dampen it at all or no?
This nest here is cocoa peat.
Okay.
So I don't have to dampen it too much.
Right.
But she's been digging in it, like she dug out of it.
Right.
So I'll go in and I'll repack it. Right. I have cocoa peat in the other room.
Right.
I have a whole separate section of cocoa peat. So ready. It's already ready.
And cocoa peat, that's your go-to substrate.
I love it.
Yeah.
I love it. Yeah.
Because a lot of
If
people have
it's
different
dry,
methods.
it's dusty, but when it's wet, it's fucking great. And it holds a burrow. And you have to really compress it in. I mean, that's the whole point of it. You got to press it in, and then, you can't have open top nest boxes. They have to be concealed tight boxes with a little hole that she could get in and out of.
I also want to give a shout out to Chris Murray.
I love Chris Murray.
Chris
Murray owes me a pair of sunglasses. Do you know why?
No.
Because the fucking kid 2 years ago in Daytona DDT'd me at the fucking beach, and I lost my sunglasses.
In the
and
water or what?
I just told 75 people that Chris Murray DDT'd me.
Well, there you go. I didn't even know that happened.
I was underwater. Blah, blah, blah.
Dude.
Lost the sunglasses. And all he did was like, sorry, Johnny.
Was it the
That's what he said.
He's watching this right
He
now.
is
I
watching
don't care.
it.
Chris is a homie. He's good.
I'm not afraid of Chris Murray. I'm not. He's
probably,
my height.
He's probably packing the glasses right now as we speak. He's sending him over. We're good.
Fucking lost my sunglasses.
But Chris was the first guy to tell me how much you need. Like he steps on his shit. Like he compacts it.
You have to.
Where it's like,
yeah. And he's stepping on it.
yeah.
You know that shit's compact. I've seen that boy's heavy hitter right now. Yeah.
So
Chris is he's a good boy.
do you feel like do you have your nest boxes heated? Because you have 4
they
of them.
are. All right, so these are these lace monitor nest boxes. That one and the one on the other side are 27 quart nest boxes, but it's a tub inside of a tub.
Okay.
The
So there's a
bottom
in
tub
there. Okay.
has an ultratherm heat pad
Okay.
on a thermostat, and then I put a 1-inch PVC frame around it so that the tub that has the dirt doesn't compress it.
Yeah, and right.
So there's a little
there's
a little
air
airspace.
yeah, there's space between.
and this way it doesn't, the bottom of the fucking dirt tub doesn't crack and all the dirt goes into and compresses anything.
Right.
So it's a tub in a tub with the dirt on top, nest box. Oh, so I set the temperature on the thermostat to like 86 degrees.
So there's a certain point in that nest box that it's 86.
Yeah.
And they know that.
Yeah.
And that's what they dig towards.
Yeah, but she nests all over that nest box.
So I was gonna say, like, where are you finding majority of the eggs? Are they like
Midway down, which is good.
but like
No.
off to the left, off to the right, straight down middle?
Well,
Both. Yeah.
they usually.
It just depends.
What was the last one? There was a clutch. I swear to God, it was the most amazing thing. She laid 9 eggs in a row, and they were literally in a row. Like she was like popping them out of her butt and just like walking away, and they were just like bloop, 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 bloop. And then she just put some dirt on top. And I was like, that's the easiest nesting I ever had to dig up. It was
Right.
great. I put them right in the sim container. They're actually due Christmas.
And 200 days or what?
Yeah, usually 200 days I imagine them. This clutch now that I'm hatching, it's a little over 200 days now. But I don't think they're going to go anytime soon. They feel like they're going to be like a 230-day clutch.
How many clutches do you expect out of a female each year if it goes well? If it goes your way, what
Man,
does it
they
go?
could lay 6 clutches a year. But this one girl over here laid 4.
In 1 year?
Yeah,
What?
yeah.
So how many eggs in 1 year did you get out of her that made it all the way?
A
Well,
bunch.
how many did we have? Like 20.
Wow.
Yeah, we have a bunch of eggs.
Yeah, we got a bunch of eggs.
Now
I think there's like 15 eggs or 18 eggs in there right now.
I love the bells, man. Don't get me wrong. Bells is what I have, and I'm obsessed with it. But what's your plan with?
That's right.
What's your plan with implementing normals?
Well, Alex has the normals, and he has bells.
So you're waiting for him to produce them and getting some hands, or getting hands on
Yes.
his. Because how come you never just got one from Waterloo?
I love Waterloo's normals.
They're black.
They're black.
They're sick as shit.
They look like black dragons. They're the female. Brian Waterloo's female black dragon is maybe 40 inches. She's
Like actual
tiny.
black, like actual black. dragon?
She's black. She's gorgeous. She's gorgeous. I love her. He has eggs cooking right now, and I might take a couple off of him. I might. I'm.
You mean it wasn't a black dragon?
No.
A black lace? You mean
Black lace, but the
Right.
lace,
But it
the
looks
black
black,
color
yeah.
is black.
Yeah.
And they're black and
melanistic.
white. Like it's
Yeah.
black with a little bit of like white
Still
stripes on the
back there.
arms. It's so pretty.
But your partner Alex, shout out to Alex by the way.
Yeah.
Alex works what's called a tiger.
He has
Or
a
a,
normal lace monitor that came from a bell clutch,
Okay.
and it makes when
Tiger
he breeds
stripes,
it
it
to
has-
his male, which is a super clean, amazing
Pink
bell. It's a
Right.
pink bell.
Right.
It's a black and pink bell.
Earl.
He-
Is it Earl? What's his name? I forget his name. What did Alex name?
Silver, Quicksilver.
Quicksilver. Okay.
So Quicksilver, I don't know what I named that. Quicksilver mates with this female, and she's a very dark, stripy normal. They just make bells. They don't make normals. So I sent him a couple of bells recently, well, in the past year, to raise up that were normals that like had like blue and green on their faces. And I was like, here, you got to make some normals. Work with these males, with that female. I'm sure that they're gonna make beautiful babies.
And I mean, and at this point, what would be the price break between a normal you guys would produce compared to a Bell's? You feel like?
What?
What's the price break?
I was reading Mike Stefani's post. He says, Johnny, do you ever use a fucking shine box? I haven't used the shine box.
But like, is there a jump between a normal you would produce to the Bells, or do you need to be around the same price?
Well, normals are hard to find. So
Right,
the price
that's
of
what I'm saying,
normals has gone up. They used to be the cheaper version of the
the
bells.
laces,
And now
yeah.
everybody's, I mean, I'm reading bells and everybody says, I love bells, but I love normals more. I'm
That's
like,
what I've been
really?
hearing.
And I'm like, okay, well, we have normals coming, but it's going to be, whenever Alex hatches them again.
Yeah, right.
Might be next year.
So if anything, the normals might be the same price as the Bells.
Yeah.
Yeah. There won't be no
I
slight.
think Brian's pretty high priced on
No,
his
they're high
normals.
as fuck.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
respectfully, they deserve it. You know what I mean? Sim container.
Yeah.
Shout out to the actual sim container.
Yes, the actual plastic
I
container.
gotta tell you, every egg I've hatched since I've met you has been out of a sim container,
Thank you.
and it's the truth.
Thank you.
Less steps, less stress. If it's a sim, it's a win. That's sim container. Can I get your handshake on that, please?
I gotta
Thank
put
you
that
so
on a
much.
shirt.
Dude, I've been saying that since the beginning.
If it's a sim, it's
No,
a
no,
win.
it's less stress.
Less stress.
It's no, excuse me. It's less steps,
Less
less
steps.
stress. If it's a sim, it's a win. How sick is that?
That's a good.
One more time. Less steps. Say
Less-
it. Less steps, less stress.
Less stress.
If it's a sim,
If it's a sim,
it's a win.
It's a win.
There you go. Are we winning?
Yeah.
Then we're
Yeah.
sinning. Let's go. Let's go. No, but seriously, the invention, the design behind the sim container.
Yeah.
Where did that all come from?
Oh.
Do you want to sit down for this one? Do you need to
All
talk
right.
about this one?
Okay. I've mentioned this in so many times.
I do.
My friend Greg came over and he says, I want to make an egg box. I was like, all right, whatever. I'm fucking incubating Ackies and Tristis at the time, 2007 and 8, right?
Right.
He goes, I want to make an egg. I'm going to make a no substrate egg container. I'm like, okay. So Greg Madden is the person I'm talking to, and that's
Right.
whose accent I'm throwing out there. By the way, he has the strongest Brooklyn accent, but he grew up a block away from me, and it's so strong. It's like, yeah, I want to
Big.
make an egg container.
Yeah.
Like it's like so that draw,
It's just so genuine.
Yeah.
None of them in his family.
No,
speak
nobody
like
talks
that.
like Greg. Just Greg. This
Just
is a
Greg.
great thing. He's in that picture right there. Anyways, he came over. He wanted to make an egg container. I said, okay, what do you need? He goes, I want to take a screen cover. I was like, okay. So I give him a 10-gallon screen cover. And I said, what else do you need? He goes, I need a hammer and I need some foam. I said, okay. So he starts hammering a piece of foam and making divots in it. And he was going to cut the foam to put into a shoebox. And he was going to put water on the bottom of the foam. And he was going to put leopard gecko eggs in this thing.
Right.
And I said, there's a better way. Let's do it different. I said, I have plastic coated chicken wire. So I made an accordion shape.
Right.
Which is really the original sim container design is an accordion shape. And you put the eggs in the valley of the accordion.
The accordion, right?
Yeah. But they couldn't open the molds that way. I tried. So we made it flat. But anyways,
Right.
the sim container, that's how it started. So he tested it with leopard geckos. He tested it on the accordion. We didn't do the foam thing. We didn't make he started with the divots. It sucked.
Right.
So we did the accordion. And then I tried it with Ackies and Tristis monitors and they all hatched. And I said, well, shit, this is fucking easy. Because I just, put the eggs on top of the grid and I put a little damp perlite on the bottom. It was like wet perlite.
We also put the railings in too. Like the railings is almost what mimics the accordion style is what you're saying.
Yeah, but this was just a piece of chicken wire
Right.
that I just
What?
bent into a shape like an
accordion.
accordion.
Right.
It's out there, Natalie. See if you can find it.
What?
It's over
Come
by
on,
the
Natalie.
freezer.
Come on, Natalie. Go get it.
Go get it. Go ahead. Oh, good girl.
What a girl.
She's awesome.
She's
You're the
amazing.
best.
She's a trooper.
She's gonna
But-
want some money.
so
from
what
me.
year was
She's
this?
She's gonna extort me for something.
That's already been the case. I'm not gonna lie. She's all
tough,
over it.
man. Tough.
I'm kind of worried when she
That's
takes
why I don't
over.
take it to reptile shows. She'd be like, I
I'm
want
pretty
that
sure-
lychee. I want that.
I'm pretty sure
I
I'm
want
not
the
gonna
bowlings.
get free shirts after she takes over. I feel like
No.
I'm gonna get charged every single.
You're getting charged. Absolutely.
Well, what year was it when this was happening?
2008.
Okay.
No, that's not it, honey. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. It's okay. Don't worry about it.
Listen, John, if it's one thing that you gotta understand, there's so many people out there who are miserable with their day to day. Like some
Yeah.
people, like God bless them, man. And, you know, that's the average American. People hate their
Yes.
jobs, right? Luckily, we're in a position where
Yes.
we can work with something we love.
But
right,
but
you can't just rely on
No.
one thing. What's crazy is, John, you have your 9 to 5, you have your
You
thing,
have
and then
it,
you
you
have your
need
SIM
it.
container. Like you have,
yes,
like
you
you
need
have,
a career.
right?
You need. It helps to have a career to help you build this, because I couldn't do this without my career. I'm. If you don't know, my career is in footwear, so I design shoes. I've been doing it since 1999. I've been employed just about every day from October of '99 till now. I'm still working in shoes, but it's been helpful for me to promote and progress my hobby, because I got a steady salary. So I do the grunt work where I got to be, at a place and dressed up and do the work
To keep this going. Right.
But now this is starting to really pick up, especially the SIM containers and the breedings.
But is that not getting to your head?
What do you mean?
Like, I mean, is that maybe thinking like, well, fuck, maybe I don't need my 9 to 5 anymore?
I know, but in times like this, where things are on the downslope seasonally, it helps.
It's a reality check.
It helps.
It's like I'm glad I'm where I'm at.
My career
Yeah.
to help, because I'm in a very expensive part of the United States.
Yeah.
The mortgage,
Super expensive.
the food, gas,
It all
tolls,
adds
the
up.
bridges. You know
2
these
children.
bridges?
Yeah.
You know that bridge nearby?
The one I just
20
crossed
miles.
over. Yeah.
There's a
Takes 20
tunnel.
minutes to get here, no matter
The
where you're
tunnel
at.
to get into Manhattan is $20. $20 to go a mile underwater into another borough. It's crazy.
Yeah.
So
Per
it
car.
helps to have a career. It's relatively high paying. I mean, you can certainly do this on a lower salary or a different career than shoes.
Yeah.
I just stuck with shoes because I could sketch, and I'm not really built for construction.
I'm sure people are out there like,
Basically,
what?
that's what it is.
I'm sure people are out there like, what is it that John does? Like,
I
what is-
design shoes. I can draw, so I decided to look for jobs that I can do doing drawings. So,
what major shoe companies have you drawn for out there?
well, I started out in '99 designing women's casuals, basically.
So
and
let me
then
ask
I
you
got
this:
into
you sketch
sexy
something,
stuff.
and people say yes or no, or how's
Well,
that work?
yeah, I work for a company, and we sell to like say Steve Madden
Oh,
or
shit.
Jessica Simpson or Macy's. So I'm designing a lot
Whatever
of
you
the
think,
patterns.
like whatever you think, like whatever you feel like
Well,
needs
it's
to be
based
designed.
on a lot of things. It's based on what's the current trends and
So you do research
shopping
behind
and
it.
research.
It's
Yeah, you gotta
almost
do
like
market
what you
research.
invest in. Like if you're in the ball python game, you go with
Yes.
certain wars.
Yeah,
So you go with certain styles.
right.
Okay.
So certain things are very are up and coming, very popular and trending, and then there's things that are downtrending. And I intend to
You avoid
sketch into designing into the women's sexier, trending things.
Do you ever have anything that you design that you feel like it doesn't matter what times it is, it's always a go, like it's gonna win? Like do you have a certain type of style that you're
Oh,
got a
in
shoe.
terms of shoes, like
Yeah.
women's flat sandals
I
go.
got a boy shoe over
You got a blister? You got a what?
there. A boy shoe. That's
A boy shoe? No, I don't want to see the boy
Are
shoes.
you a boy? Get out of here.
No, we're not talking. So yeah, women's flat sandals, like anything like jeweled, like that's a whole part of my life that you guys don't know about. It's not all about lizards and snakes and stuff here. Like the design part of my life started really, really young when my parents knew that I can draw, and they made sure that I went to art schools and like I
Make sure you did what you love.
did what I loved, and I
That's
do love
awesome.
drawing, and unfortunately I don't get to draw like what I really want to anymore.
You do what you have to do.
I do what I have to do, and it kind of saps all my creativity in doing the shoes for women's shoes or kids shoes that I can't draw, other things. Like I like designing products. I love design. I loved drawing cars
So let me tell you
when I was
why
a kid.
let me-
Designing new cars was a big thing for me.
I told John something earlier while I was setting up for sound check, and I'm not kidding about this. I would trade every ball python I had for this shit right here.
Don't trade your ball pythons.
I'm not going to, but
Okay.
the only reason why I would is because of how much less thought I have about what I need to be relevant This, you have a lace, you're relevant. You're already good. In this
Yeah.
game, you're good. If you can reproduce what you have here, you're
But
good.
if I didn't have lace and say I had spiny tail iguanas, it would be, almost the same thing.
But what I'm saying is, bro, I rely on like 30 clutches a year. That's a lot of fucking overhead.
Yeah, it is.
And then I have a lot of things that I didn't want, and I have to sell it. I have to sit on it.
Yeah.
It's just a lot of work, and it's okay. It's a grind. But as we get older, we should probably be smarter about what we have, and that's what I'm doing. I'm trying to be more logical.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to have to, like with you in the shoe game. I feel like that's how I am in the ball python game.
Mm-hmm.
Don't get me wrong. There's certain genes I like, but I know there's certain genes I need to go into in order to be relevant. That sucks.
I was talking to somebody. I think it was Mikey Pie. You know Mikey Pies?
Oh, I know Mikey Pies.
I love Mikey
Come
Pies.
on, forget about it. We know.
I
Mikey
said to
Pies.
Mikey, I was like, these ball python guys must have some kind of algorithm to know what's coming up in 2026 that they're going after. There's got to be some kind of formula that they're working on, because it can't just be like, they're putting this and this together to make this, and we'll see if it hits or not. I'm like, they're probably thinking 5 years ahead. It's got to be.
Yeah. I mean, I don't. Here's the thing. Like that, I think there's people who look at you and think that, like John is 5 years ahead. The thing is,
I'm not.
But
There's no
here's the
morphs
thing.
with this.
but
There's no morphs with monitors. There's one or two.
But at the end of the day, correct me if I'm wrong. You're looking to move this male out if you can, and just work with one male that you would rather keep that bloodline with.
Yeah.
So with time, by you doing that, the productions will be at a higher standard.
Yes.
But as you breed the higher standards, you get higher standards.
Yes.
That's the ball python game. So here, I mean, not that I'm saying the lace game will ever become a morph game or what it is, but at the end of the day, as you produce quality back to quality, there's a higher version of it. So, I mean, you have some pink fucking goddamn laces right next to me right here. I mean, how much more pink can we get? We don't know yet. This could get even more pink.
Yeah.
This could get hot pink. We don't know. Correct?
Yeah.
And that's why I love.
It's line breeding. It's best colors with best colors, and I did it with Ackies, and it works.
Right.
My red Ackies are incredibly red. My top enders are striped, and I bred them for long neck stripes and chunky back patterns, and it works. Like, I keep line breeding for better traits.
Right. But it's like, and I'm just saying, nothing is about pythons, but there's specific morphs where if you don't have it, no matter how good it looks, who gives a shit? Mm-hmm. Right? Which is kind of like unfair, because there's certain quality of genes that produce such an amazing looking animal. But what are the genes? Okay, well, that doesn't make it that priced animal.
Yeah.
So the reason why I love the shit that you work with is because at the end of the day, John, you are in control of what you want to price, however high quality you feel like these laces are. Mind you, you're not trying to rip anybody off.
No.
But at the end of the day, if you have a $5,000 lace, and then you have a lace that's a hot pink lace or some shit, or like this, or quote unquote super bells. Mm-hmm. Okay, I understand people don't like that phrase, but there's a complete. I see the difference. Yeah, I see why you should label that as super bells. Yeah. But with you being respectful, you don't push that into the spectrum. But that could be the end of the spectrum. Mm-hmm. If you keep this going, there's going to be a line drawn in the sand that there's bell phases and there's super bells. Yeah. Am I right or am I wrong?
No, you're right. I think, and that's where holding back comes into play. You have to hold back some of your better things.
Yeah.
Like I do
the things you believe in.
With my Ackies. Like I
love this guy's Ackies. Okay, his other room, whole other level.
Yeah, you're gonna have to fly back for another.
No, for another episode. But guess what? The vlog. Be ready for the vlog that's dropping on this guy's place tomorrow morning. I'm coming over. I'm shooting everything. Okay, so if you guys really want to know what's happening in the other room, go subscribe to my other YouTube channel, The Trap Vlogs, and you'll see all about it. Yeah. But the other room, it's a whole nother mission behind Sim Container. Mm-hmm. I love it.
I love it too. I absolutely love those Ackies. They're probably. I love my lace. I love my Ackies. I love my Ackies,
bro. Let's talk.
Like my Kimberly rocks.
I love the Ackies.
I love the Primordius. I love the
upper. Where the top enders?
The top ender Ackies. My red Ackie. My top ender Ackie.
Natalie, the top enders,
people don't know what the top ender is. A Northern Territory locality Ackie that has long neck stripes and these big chunky spots, but they're like a rose gold color. They're totally different than a red Ackie. They don't even behave similarly. They're not even bitey. Like some red Ackies, well, a lot of red Ackies tend to be a bit bitey. Top enders are not like that, and they're just fucking gorgeous. I just love the way they look. Love the way I'm able to line breed for the long neck stripes and those spots that connect down the back, or they're just big and chunky. I love it, and it's been going on for the last few years here. I'm really enjoying it. Let me see.
These are
Oh, she wants to show me. Okay,
Let's see
So
how good they'll show up on the camera.
So what you guys don't know is I have a huge collection of photos from the 90s.
touch the screen. Touch it. There you go. Good job, dude. She's good. Natalie's good. So what's going on here, John?
All right, so that's the first sulfur that got imported into the United States in 1993. So I bought that lizard. That's the one I had for 17 years.
Oh my God.
I love.
All right, Natalie. Next one. Need you to touch the screen. Ready? Natalie, touch the screen. Natalie, touch the screen.
Oh,
there
this
you
is
go.
great.
Natalie's good.
Look at her looking in the mirror. That's such a great
That's
picture.
such a sick What's this one right here?
Same thing. That's that female sulfur that I bought in 1993.
Those were all the three. That was your.
So this
Natalie, you weren't even around yet.
This was a very, early on in my monitor keeping. There was no social media. There was no internet. There was no internet back then.
One more.
Hit it, Nat.
There.
There we go. There we go.
So there was no internet back then. So I took a lot of photos and I had them printed. And I met up with some monitor people that were, had similar interests as I do. And we kind of like bounced ideas off. Some of those guys are still in the fucking game. Mike Stefani,
Yeah.
John Hogston.
On Church.
Not Don Church. I met him.
Was
10
Don
years
later
ago.
or what?
Don was later. I didn't know him in the 90s.
Because I got to tell
Ron
you.
St. fucking
Ron
Pierre.
St. Oh my God.
Ron
Ron
St.
St. Pierre. What a
Ron St.
fucking
Pierre.
legend.
Ron St. Pierre. We're blurry, by the way.
Oh, come on.
I was like, I know I'm not that drunk.
Right.
Ron St. Pierre was all right. So Ron St. Pierre met Pete Mimicosa, two guys that I would call constantly as a teenager and bothered the shit out of them because they knew a little bit more than me about monitors, and I needed to know what they knew. So I pestered them until they gave me the information. So Ron, I love you. Pete, I love you as well. Thank you both. I'm just proud to say that they're friends of mine, and they're still in it. They're still doing stuff. They're still healthy, and they're still in Reptiles. So
Are you going to Daytona next year?
yeah, I'm gonna be there.
How do you feel about maybe us going to Ron's place before Daytona's? Do you feel like that's possible? I'll fly you in for it. I'm talking about me, you, and Ron at podcast. Us
Oh,
three
that'd be great.
at his place.
I would love that.
Yeah.
I don't know if Ron will love that, but I think
Ron is down. I mean, I don't know. About, here's the thing. Ron's down for me to come. I don't know how he feels.
You
about
see what he's doing in the Knolls?
No.
Those blue Knolls?
Oh, the Cuban
God,
Knolls.
it's fucking
They're
nice.
fucking
The
nuts.
Podior.
Dude, they're huge.
He
They're
used to
beautiful.
have this guy. Used to
I had them.
You used to.
Yeah, my friend has them now because I didn't have the right setup for them, so my friend is taking care of them.
I have to. I'm glad I thought about this because I was always curious about this. As a long time ago. If you lived in Florida,
Yeah,
if you were in Florida right now,
Yes.
how much of this would be outside?
I don't know.
Why? What is it that you don't know?
Well, A, it can escape. B, there's shit that could get into the cage that can kill my animal. Like
So then you do know. You rather keep
Yeah.
them indoors.
I'd rather do them indoors. I can
even
control.
even if you lived in Florida with
Yes.
the most,
I can
ideal
control.
temperatures
I
outside.
can control indoors.
And what
I
happens?
can't control
indoors?
outside,
I agree.
and
Yeah.
that's how I feel about it. I mean, if I had, what I do love about Florida is the heat and the sun.
Right.
What I don't like about Florida is marine toads and the ability to escape. And once it's gone, it's gone. So I like keeping it indoors.
One thing that, I mean, damn man. I mean, I've updated you on how much I've been working with my lace monitors, like
Yeah.
Mac Dre and Alice,
He's
right?
doing an
Like,
amazing
I
job.
love them, right? But want to know when the one thing where I felt like I didn't know I had no control is when I put them outside. I put them
Oh,
outside
yeah.
for one day,
And what happened?
and I came out there to check on them.
Yeah. Oh,
Like
yeah.
the male was like I was
Oh,
like,
yeah.
whoa, what are you
Everything
doing? And
changes.
he was whipping the female. I'm like, what is happening?
Yeah.
And like I remember I got in there to calm him down, and then a bird flew by,
Oh, totally.
and I'm like, what's happening?
Oh,
and they
yeah.
were like, dude, I was like, I'm never doing this
Yeah.
again, dude. I remember calling Andrew. I'm like, Andrew, I'm not putting him outside. He's like, yeah, buddy, I told you. I'm like, no, Andrew, you did not tell me. You
Oh,
you
yeah,
guided me how to build this.
They've become. You got a taste of what an actual wild monitor is. They're fearful of birds. They don't like anything flying over their head because birds are predators.
Right.
You know, and the sun affects them differently than indoor lighting. You know, indoor lighting, you can work with your monitor. It'll get to know you. It'll be friendly. I mean, there are monitors that are kept outside in Florida that are just as friendly.
Touch her face. Touch her face. Like wherever you see her faces, touch it.
By the way, you see this guy behind me? That's Scar.
That's
He don't look very big in the video, but he's
That's
a
good,
little
you're
over
good.
6 feet. And when, you know, I got to do something about that log because it's on chains. And he
love it.
climbs up to get to that basking spot. But he
For how-
has
for how-
another basking spot right over there, and he doesn't even use it. Anyways, when he swings that log, it hits this glass window.
The wife hears.
And then I hear it because my bedroom's right above it. So at 3 a.m, it's like, boom. And I'm like, I'm up. What was that? Oh, it's probably Scar. Do you hear any noises in the basement when you're sleeping? You do, right? These animals are noisy at
I
night.
feel like this.
What's the energy like when there's eggs being laid around here? Like, is it pretty intense?
Oh, God. Well, first I jump up and down.
Right.
Then I go get her or my wife. Usually my wife is like, whatever. You know?
Wait, what?
She's like, whatever.
What? For what?
When I say there's eggs being laid, she don't really care. My wife loves the babies.
Oh, I'm sure.
If it's a baby, she'll
with it.
love it. And, you know, she'll pet it. And it's
She does her
cute.
little
And it's so
cutie
cute.
voice. She does say
Great. And then they grow up and she's like, whatever. Natalie is right there with me, setting up the sim container, digging up the eggs, blowing the dirt off the egg, like putting it in the sim, making sure the substrate is wet, putting the lid on. And now she's writing the details on the side of the sim with the chalk marker, such as who was the female that laid it and when she laid them. So I know, you know, obviously whose eggs these are.
Right.
She's doing all of that now. So she's a big help for me. You know, I don't have Sim Container is not Nerd. We're not Prehistoric Pets. We're not a lot of these other big names. It's me and my daughter Natalie, you know, in this house, you know, and then we have Alex and he has his kids doing stuff. We are wiping our own asses. We don't have a group of employees helping us. We are really deeply involved in every fucking aspect of this.
But it's a family ordeal. It's a family deal.
It is.
Yeah, maybe ordeal sometimes. But
Absolutely.
whatever. It is what it is.
Usually I'm at a goddamn Tinley show and something's hatching, and who has to check my incubator? My wife.
Right.
And she does it. And she laughs her ass off because it's usually exactly before I come home, there's something pipping. Lace, calming eye, fucking what else was I hatching that mommy found? Tons of Ackies, Kimberly Rocks, Bobaras. She's seen them all. And I've rarely seen shit hatch because I'm usually at a show. It's
Right.
just the weirdest thing. I'm like, what's hatching now? She goes, Lace. What's hatching now? Calming eye. Oh my God.
How much has your wife kind of asked you about like the, you know, value of these animals that you're producing? Like, does
She knows
know?
what they
all the
are.
time.
She knows.
Oh my
Thank
God,
you, Natalie.
respectful. Okay.
Gotta watch what she says.
I
you
mean,
know
she's
what I
all
mean?
over it. She knows.
Shit.
But how much is that importance to your wife letting you do your own thing? Because I can tell you what, once I tapped my wife into what I'm making and whatnot, she was like, okay, do your
she
fucking
knows-
thing, motherfucker. That's what she was.
No,
that's how she was.
She knows that this can be lucrative and it could be horrible.
Right.
You know,
It's
so
like this.
sometimes I come home and I'm like, hey, guess what? I made enough money that we could fix the sidewalk outside. Let's call the guys, or we could fix the fence, or we can. This was recently. We fixed the concrete on the side of the house. We had to have the concrete crew come in, and I had enough money to pay for that. You know, like, so it does help pay for things. You know, get things
So I got
taken care of
this.
at the house because it's.
I got-
There's other. It's not just a
But there's-
bunch of
but-
lizards. It's a house. It's
But
actual,
what you're saying is
there's
there's times where that sidewalk needs to be fixed and there ain't no money for it.
right. So sold some did well at a show. Got into washer dryer. Like that was a big deal.
Yeah.
You know.
What about? I mean, what do you have to say to people who are, you know? How about this? There's a lot of people who been to their first show in 2022. They didn't do too good,
Yeah.
and they're like, well, you know what? F this.
Don't
I don't want to do
quit.
this
Don't
again.
stop.
But I mean, that's what I'm
don't-
saying, John. What's your attitude towards that? Like the people who don't make money at shows and they want to give up. What do you have to say about something like that?
Stick with it.
Ugh.
This year kind of sucks for everybody. It does.
Amen.
It
At
does.
least
I mean,
it's
it's been so
changing
much
in, like,
better
2030.
business years, like 2021, 2020, 19, 18, 17, 16, 15. Like those years were super amazing. Also, think out of the box. Put something on the table that you wouldn't expect anybody to look at, but they might be interested in it. It might be an accessory to an accessory. You know, it might be an accessory to somebody who's keeping isopods. Maybe you're selling substrates. Maybe you're selling, you know, think out of the box. Maybe you're not just selling your captive bred king snakes. Maybe you're selling something that goes along with the husbandry of keeping king snakes. You know,
I just feel like a lot of
you
people
got to think a little bit sometimes. It's not just about the snake.
I mean, first and foremost, no matter what advice you get from whoever the fuck you get, you should kind of take for consideration what's happening in front of you.
Mm-hmm.
Like one thing that you told me was like the fact that they will share basking space, right?
Mm-hmm.
But if the ambient isn't where it should be, then maybe offer multiple.
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
That's
Depending,
true, yeah.
Right? But here's the thing: if the female doesn't get what she can't get here, then she can come right
she
over
can
here.
move over there. Oh, and these cages, the floor
It's heated.
There's a 4-foot cane heat mat underneath the cages.
And how hot does that stay? Like, what
it's hot. It's warm. It's
It
over
is.
100.
It
The
burns.
male sometimes lays in this area. You should be able to feel it under there.
Oh yeah, that's not bad.
No,
I wish I could
That's
hold
not
you, buddy.
it's further over. It's
What
back there
would he do
more.
if you were to scratch him? Would he fuck you up?
Probably not.
But you
But
never know.
Not your blood.
you know. Nah, you don't want to do the gross. MJ's breaking
I'm
everything.
sorry.
Fuck's sake.
Okay,
Can't keep anything
people
nice.
are wondering like what kind of doors these are. What
Oh,
are
okay.
these?
So these are local glass place makes these. They're double insulated, vinyl wrapped
Double
glass
pane.
windows. And that's what I'm using on these.
I want to see
And they're on like a metal, you know, this metal track.
the
Right.
track.
What is this
grid,
called?
The grid.
It has a name.
I don't know. I just know it's in the middle. I mean,
The track is metal.
Grid.
It's
Gradient.
aluminum. It's for construction. It's for like studs. It's like a
Right.
metal U
Yeah.
track.
Hmm.
Go to Home Depot, and you know, next time I go to Home Depot, I'll take a picture of it.
You told me
basically.
one
It's,
thing that a long
just
time ago.
sits in it.
You told me people give too much ventilations to their monitors.
Yeah, it creates big problems.
Well, let's talk about that. What do you mean by
Well, it
that?
lets all the heat and humidity out.
Okay, so there's
you know?
that.
So you got to hold your humidity in. You're trying to create an environment in your house, you know, in these cages. You have too much ventilation, that environment is shit because it's going to go out the fucking ventilation. So you want to kind of hold things in. You don't need fresh airflow constantly blowing through. That's not what this is about. This is monitor keeping. They come from places that are not like New Jersey. They come
It's
from
humid as shit.
They come from more humid and hotter
It's
places.
muggy.
I use the expression Miami in August. It's hot as
Right,
hell.
yeah.
That's what they like.
That's what they're used to.
That's what they want.
24/7.
It's what they like. If my cage doesn't feel like Miami in August, then there's
There's a problem.
there's a problem. If it's for the person who's keeping a glass cage in the living room of their house with a screen top, I always tell them add more substrate. Don't let it be all just empty air. Fill up your substrate. It could be cocoa chips. I love cocoa chips. It could be dirt and sand. Fill it up. Go deep as possible in that cage. It'll hold more heat from the basking lamp that's on top of the screen. And then cover your screen. Cover the part of the screen that's not where the lamp is. Cover it with foil or something, aluminum foil, just to hold more heat in. And then consider switching to like a PVC style solid ceiling cage where you can install floodlights. That was a bug on me.
The bug's been all over me this whole time.
So you can install floodlights in the roof of the PVC cage. This way you have a solid ceiling where, the heat is inside the cage, still contained, with maybe minimal ventilation on the sides just to excess some extra heat out.
Uncle Mike said that, man, when you open that door, you should feel like
You should feel
that fucking.
You should feel it. Like, look, we're sticky.
If that door
It's
was
warm.
closed, we'd be sweating
Right.
balls.
The
There's a
basement
whole
door
airflow
here is
going through right
open,
now.
and it's like 65 in that room, so we're getting a nice breeze.
Right.
But if that was shut, we would be dripping.
Yeah.
We'd have pit stains and everything.
You have multiple. From what I see, you have multiple nesting options
Yes.
behind you. Which one does she prefer? You feel like?
Well,
The yellow.
the big
top.
one in the back. Let me move over so
Yeah.
you guys could see. So there's a nest box here, right behind my chair.
right in front of this nest box, there's a
There's
nest
a nest
box,
box,
right?
and then there's another one. That one the back one she uses as a hide.
Okay.
That's
The male can't fit in there though.
The male doesn't fit in there.
Okay.
The male doesn't fit in this one.
But she's in there right now, obviously.
Yeah.
Right?
The male goes in here, and when he sleeps, he goes under the leaves.
So there's a hide available, but then there's the nesting, which is that's what I see. There's dirt filled to the brim.
Filled to the
There
top.
should be no space.
No space, because then
that
it would become
trips
another
them out.
hide box.
Yeah, and then also loose dirt is a problem.
Yes. If anybody's like interested in learning, like really learning about like lace monitors, and by the way, this applies
That's
to a
what
lot of
this whole
monitors.
podcast is supposed to be for.
you can go to CrocDoc2 on YouTube as well, because Dave Kirshner is a monitor genius, and what he's done with those videos, those breeding monitors in captivity videos, there's like 8 of them. Incredible, Dave. Thank you.
In his living room. In his living room.
He has the love rug. I don't have a love rug.
But dude, that love rug he discovered by then, they choose that.
Well, they do it, but they just cruise around and they go in the cage and they go in a circle until they lock up. Like the female is luring him into a nice flat area that they can mate, you know. So she kind of gets him out of, you know, she kind of gets him to where she's comfortable, like laying on the leaves over there to mate.
Yeah.
Yes.
All right, John. Well, listen up. I have a wrap-up question before we get some hot seat questions.
Okay. Ooh, can I ask them too?
I gotta ask you this. Do you have a question, Natalie? Come here. Come on. Natalie has a question. Come here. Come on. Natalie, come on. Natalie. Natalie.
I asked it before.
Oh,
shit.
She is.
I asked it before.
Oh no.
What is it?
You remember?
What?
You remember I said it when we first?
No, do it. Say it right now. What is it? Right here. You have to say in the mic. You speak in the mic.
How many lizards do you think that you actually have in total?
Oh man, there's
everything. So both rooms.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, that's gonna be a tough one.
9, 10, 11, 12. There's 12 in this room.
There's 12.
Then how many are in the backyard? There's a lot.
There's at least 20 in the back room.
How many do I have, Nat?
32? 40?
Well, I counted a month ago that he had like 56.
Holy shit.
What if she's right? What if you have
She's
56
probably right. I mean,
did you really count each one?
Let me just explain to people, they're not all lace monitors. I have a lot of Ackies, a ton.
Yeah.
There's probably 40 Ackies in this house. I love them.
40.
I can't do. I absolutely.
You can't
love
live
those
without
rough
them.
monitors.
My wrap-up question for you, John, is anyone out there who's right here listening to your podcast has whatever money it costs to get one of your laces, what is going to be your recommendation before they even inquire with you?
Oh, build the cage first.
But,
get it right.
Like the adult cage, like have it ready for as an adult, or
it doesn't have to be an adult cage. They're buying a baby, and it's going to take a year and a half to at least.
But a year and a half isn't shit. I mean, it's not shit, John. A year and a half happens.
It happens
I'm
really
there
fast.
now.
It
and
happens fast.
Yeah, right.
You're right. But you know, I would tell them, you know, like maybe Focus Cube has a cage that I could recommend. You know, I would tell them buy a solid ceiling PVC cage. You know, avoid the glass. I mean, a lot of people go for glass because it's readily available, but the PVC cage with the solid ceiling, sliders in the front, or even swing outdoors, it'll last a long time, and your animal will grow very, very quickly in it because it'll contain all that heat and humidity.
If you were to say the dimensions of the enclosures you should have ready, if you were to get a bell as tiny as it is right now, to the adult size, what size enclosures do you feel like
minimum 322 minimum, because they're going to use every bit of it.
All the way up to what though?
For a baby, 322 could last at least 6 months, and then you can upgrade from there.
As far as how big though, like does it matter how big it is from there, or?
Well, at the 6 month of age size, you can go as big as you want. I don't like putting babies in cages this size because they disappear and they spaz out, and you want to be able to watch what they're doing while they're hiding.
You want like 3 stages of enclosures at least, maybe.
Yeah, you want the baby cage so that you know that they're eating, you know that they're thriving, and you know that you're not making too many mistakes. Then they grow up a little bit. So 6 months old and they're 24 inches long or more. You know they're coming out and they're pounding mice, they're pounding chicks, they're eating egg, and they're growing. And you know that in about a year from now, they're going to be, they could possibly become receptive. Like I have a customer named Eloise, and I know he's fucking watching.
Hmm.
Calls me every day, wants to know what sexes are. I think they're a 1.1. The female's starting to test dig. He went from baby cage to mid-sized cage, and now he has a big cage, and he's just about ready.
Right.
And these are
That's
animals that
good.
Alex hatched. Yeah, probably same age as yours.
Shit.
So they're ready, and
Yeah.
his female's starting to test dig. Test dig,
Yeah.
like putting nose
Mess
holes
around,
in the nest box.
Right.
And he's just realizing this now because he built it and he has the nesting in the cage.
I know that.
I can tell you
know
one
this.
thing I want to do is
You know everything.
I think it's awesome that you have something for them to hide in and something to lay in. Like, I think that option is important.
It's helpful. Yeah.
Right.
Well, because I leave my lights on a lot.
Right. Because they need
So they
someone
need
for darkness.
So
They need to go to bed.
look on the floor over there. You know that's
tunnel?
an expansive expanding tube
Yeah,
that
yeah.
you get at Home
Yeah,
Depot.
I
or
have that. That
Lowe's.
shit's expensive as fuck.
Is it?
Yes.
Well, you buy like 8 feet of it, right?
Yeah.
So you cut it.
It's
and
like
it'll-
$30.
All right, so $30. I know it's an investment, but if you cut it, it'll last forever because
Right. It doesn't
friggin'
deteriorate.
plastic.
Right.
It'll last forever. My female's hiding these tubes.
Right. But the male
That's
can't.
the male can't go in
That's
there.
what's perfect.
So it's a way for the
The
female
males
to
are
hide
too
in
big.
peace because the
That's
males are
awesome.
pains in the
They're
asses.
too big.
Sorry for cursing in front of you,
You're
Natalie.
good. Natalie, I've been
These
cussing-
These are
I've been
words you've
cussing a lot,
never
too.
ever heard of in your life, I'm
Natalie,
sure.
You don't smoke weed either. You hear me?
Oh my God,
Dang it.
what they did to my kid today. My kid got an education. I'm like, she's
Andrew-
only
Andrew
they're rolling
won't weed in front
joints
of her.
and smoking it
No,
in front of her.
you put the
And
bag
she's-
in their face. I
And
didn't
she's
do
like,
it.
I was like, here, smell this. Now you'll know what it is. And she's like, oh, it smells good.
Okay, listen.
Layla said that.
Natalie, you are a superstar. So guess what? You are going to be a part of these hot seat questions, okay?
Oh no. hot
So
seat
what
question.
this means, Natalie, I need you to answer the hot seat questions the same time as your dad does. We're going to see how you guys answer side by side. Are you ready for
Oh.
this?
You're welcome, Eloise.
I don't need you to look at your dad for an answer. Natalie, you got your own answer.
All right.
You got me? Okay, here we go. Hot seat. Hey guys, let's get the lights up right now for Sim Container. We have John and the Sim. We have the Sim Container right here.
She's
It's
the
it.
one.
Not faking it. This isn't the actor. This is the real deal. CEO. Hot
That's
seat
the
questions.
CEO.
Oh no.
Hot seat
Yeah.
questions coming in hot for Sim Container. You ready for this?
Yeah.
Here we go. Hot seat questions. Same time. You better answer. 1, 2, 3. Frozen thought or live? John, you have to answer.
Oh, frozen
Uh,
thought. Always.
What do you want?
Except for crickets.
Frozen thought or live?
Frozen.
Frozen?
Yeah.
Egg cut or no cut? Would you ever cut an egg or would you never cut an egg?
Always.
Always?
Well, if
if you
if
need
it's
to.
if it's overdue.
Oh, dude.
Yeah, she's right.
She's right.
I mean, yeah,
If it's
I have my eggs in
overdue,
a sim
you need to cut
container.
it.
Here's the deal.
What are you doing?
I wait for the first one to pip,
And then the rest.
and
go.
I give it a little while. If the second one pips, I'm like, oh, they're probably all pip. If one pips and then a couple of days go by and the other ones don't pip, I'm
We
talking
need to
about the
cut it.
Ackies. I cut
Bell's face lace monitor or normal lace monitor?
them. Oh,
Wait, to cut them?
No. Bells are. Wait.
let's
Do you
kill
want
them.
Do you want a bells or a normal?
What's it kill 'em?
Bells.
I do love the bells, but I love normals too. The only reason why I sent my normals to Alex because I
You don't
knew I
got
had a
my face.
2.2 here.
Ackies or Kimberly's?
Oh, that's a tough one.
Oh.
Come on. Let's see. Come on. Don't wait for your dad. Come on. What do you like?
Ackies.
Okay.
Ackies.
Even though I love the Kimberly.
Me too.
Number one underrated monitor species worked with. Right?
Primordius.
Yeah, Primordius.
Because they're basically a foot long or less Ackie. They
Right.
do, and they're agile. They do things that
The
I never
babies
saw
are
an Ackie do. They could jump in the air and spin to catch stuff.
Yeah.
They do really crazy things for a stubby little monitor.
Okay. Here's
love
one.
'em.
Here's a good one. Yay imports or boo imports?
Yay imports because I import, but it has its pros and cons.
I don't know.
Yes, it gives you new bloodlines. It gives you new animals. Everybody
You
gets
got
excited.
questions? Oh,
Yeah.
You get excited when you see stuff come in. The cons is you gotta quarantine. You don't know who comes in sick. You gotta make
But
sure.
if it came
everybody's-
down to you making the law, yes or no, what'd you say?
oh, you need it. Other we're all screwed.
What about you? Yes or
need,
no?
We need imports.
one import you would import to your collection, no matter what it is, no matter what the laws are. What would you bring to your collection today if you could, no matter what it was?
Varanus flavescens.
The flavies?
Flavescens, not flavies.
Oh, they're different.
Yeah.
Flavescens.
Flavescens. It's a site. I can't get them because their site is one.
Any
But
lizard.
it's the yellow monitor
Oh.
from Bangladesh and
Oh
India.
my God.
It's an incredible. It looks like a savannah monitor that's red and yellow.
But it's a tree. It's not a tree monitor.
No, it's an fully aquatic lizard. They're always in the water. They're related to Bengals and Doomerals monitors,
Oh my
and
gosh.
they are beautiful. Varanus flavescens, we're not allowed to have them, so don't even ask. I would love to have them.
You.
Ackies, because they're like a really good type of lizard, even though they will bite the hell out of you. They are still really beautiful, and
I know why you like them, because they
What?
do everything in front of you. They're always at the glass looking to eat. I
They're
mean, so are the
always
Kimberly
kissing my
Rocks and the
fingers.
Primordius, but the Ackies, they're always there. They want to eat in front of you. They mate in front of you. They lay eggs. They recover easy. They handle mistakes. I love them. I love Ackies.
One import nobody should ever import ever again. Leave it alone.
Oh my God. I hate saying it, but spinulosis is one.
Ooh.
That's a tough lizard, man. A lot of them come in dirty. The first ones I got, I imported in 2010 or 11 here. They were covered in ticks, maybe 50 or 60 ticks per lizard. It was insane.
Oh my God.
It was
Ticks?
ticks. Covered in ticks. I was like, wow, what the hell is going on?
What about you? What's one animal we should never touch? Leave it in the wild.
But if good, clean ones came in and I had the space, I would work with spinnies, because spinnies are not related to Salvatore or Indicus or anything in
It's a separate
Australia.
thing.
They are genetically, well, a couple of my monitor nerd friends told me this, that genetically, the spinulosis are related to the fruit-eating monitors in the Philippines that are nowhere found anywhere near the Solomon Islands, but they're related.
Right.
Okay, so it's really cool. You got this lizard that's related to the fruit-eating monitors,
Right.
but it's found in Solomon Islands. But there's nothing in between, like Papua New Guinea, big fucking island. I'm sorry,
She's dying. No, she's dying to tell hers.
yeah,
Go.
spinnies.
What about yours? What's the one reptile nobody
Which one?
should touch?
Which one?
rattlesnakes.
Oh my, respect. Leave the venomouses alone.
Yeah.
Okay, how about this? Yay sports or boo sports? It's on you, Natalie, right now.
Come on, girl. You
Yay
can do
sports? Are we saying yay baseball and football, or no boo basketball, baseball, football? Like boo.
it. You play soccer, don't forget.
Boo. Okay, John. John.
Yay, sports.
Favorite sport, John.
Well, I'm a baseball fan. So
Favorite baseball team of all time.
Yankees.
Yankees.
Come on.
Favorite World Series of all time.
Ooh, Yankees, Braves, 1996.
That was
I think
96,
it was.
yeah.
Yeah.
Damn.
I like sports.
Yeah.
You weren't even around then. Forget about
I
it.
like sports.
How about this? Big flexor or no flexor? You're a big flexor.
Yeah.
I need to know though. I need to know. Big flexor or no
Big
flexor?
flexor.
Okay.
She doesn't.
How about this? Steak or fish?
Steak.
Fish for me.
This is a little word.
Even though I like both.
This is a little word
We just had
association.
sushi, you guys. By the way, it was really good.
I need more. Andrew's still hungry. He's asleep. Little word association. First thing to come to mind. You ready? Milk.
What comes?
What do you think
what
of
comes
milk?
to your mind
When you hear
think
milk, what do you think?
Cereal.
Oatmeal, just because I put my my milk in my oatmeal.
Substrate.
A nest box.
Ooh. Substrate, leaves.
Lacemonitor.
Giant tree monitor.
What do you think?
Boa leaf.
Favorite snake?
Hognose snakes.
Black racer. Just because the ones over here are so much fun to fight and play with.
No hognose. Garter snakes.
Goddess snakes?
Ready for this one? I need a good answer
From
for this one.
Boston?
You ready for this one?
Goddess snakes.
Van Halen or Sammy Hagar?
Oh, Van Halen, come on.
I don't know.
You gotta need an answer, or you have to leave. Van Halen or Sammy Hagar?
Van Halen.
Really?
Yes,
I
you
don't know who that is.
West Coast rap or East Coast rap?
Hello, we're in New York. It's Wu-Tang and Jay-Z. East Coast.
Okay. This is going to be a hard one. I need you guys' thoughts on this one. If you had to eliminate one monitor species out of the game forever, like let's pretend it never existed, what would it be?
Like to eliminate it.
Eliminate forever. Doesn't like it pretend it never existed.
Oh.
What would be the one?
Oh my God.
Showcase.
Oh shoot! And they're no monitors, but hey, she said it. Tokays do not belong here.
No,
John?
they bite the hell out of you.
John?
I don't know. That's a tough one.
You got one. What's one you just don't give a shit about?
Because, even if a regular freaking savannah comes in his house, I love it.
Yeah, but let's be real. Let's be real. What's one that you're okay with working with? What's the one that you're like you're like good luck. Yeah, I don't need it. Ball python?
No! No!
Monitor, you said.
Oh.
Oh shit, that's a tough one, man. I'm gonna hate myself in the morning.
I don't care.
You're gonna
Just
say
do
Nile,
it.
aren't you?
Yeah, I'm gonna say
I
Nile
won't.
monitor.
I wouldn't
Because
take away
it's-
your open.
Oh no.
By the way, you know what this kid did to me
What'd she do
this
to you?
morning? I
What?
made a beautiful bowl of oatmeal, butter, brown sugar,
Uh.
milk. Beautiful. I ate half of it. I was getting through it. I was loving my oatmeal in the morning. She took the bowl, put it in the sink, and ran water on it.
Why
She
would you
said,
do that?
She said,
Because
You're good. Why
She
would you
said,
do that to the bowl?
we're
of
going to
the
be
oatmeal?
late taking me to school. I was like, we're early.
we usually it was 7:57 and we usually leave at 7:53. So we were literally gonna I was gonna kill him. Because
Listen,
if it was 8 o'clock.
can you do me a favor?
Oh,
my
you better say hi
my
to-
buddy Alex is in here.
You know
Alex
Alex.
loves you.
Oh, wait,
Can you
that
give us?
Al-
Can you give us one? Hi, yeah. Like one in the microphone. One time for Alex. He's right there waiting for it. He wants it. Can you give it to him? Come on. He's right there waiting.
Fine.
Good. She's out of here. She's out of here. That's all I gotta say. Thank you so much. I appreciate you, Natalie. Hey, I gotta say, John, you had
Yes.
over 80 people tapped in for this episode.
Oh, that's awesome.
I appreciate it, guys.
Thank
Let's
you,
get
guys.
the likes up, please. This was an amazing 2 hours. 2 hours went by really fast, but what do you have to say to all your supporters out there, man? Everyone
Thank
who
you.
was tapped in, all the super chats. We had over $200 in super chats.
Wow,
What do you
thank
have to say to all
you.
your supporters out there, John?
Thank you so much. I appreciate all of you. And I'm here to help. So whenever you guys send me messages, I'll try to answer right away. I love you all. Thanks for watching me. And I hope you learned a little something. I don't know. I've been drinking, so we'll see.
I feel like we've both been drinking, but more
Yeah.
importantly, I think we've learned a thing or two and understand that John's the fake sim container and the real sim container is Natalie. So
Yeah.
just be ready for this. But guys, do me a favor. Go follow Sim Container on Instagram.
Thank
okay.
you.
Go to Sim Container's website. I will say before we end tonight's episode, what can you tell people out there who's waiting to get their sim container? Like,
Okay,
what's
so
deal
the
with
sim
that?
container, yeah, I know I'm very, very late and people have pre-ordered and I haven't been able to produce. So here's the scoop. The sim containers are now in Michigan. So the mold shop that's making the sim container in Michigan had to repair the molds. It cost tens of thousands of dollars to do that. I almost fully paid for it. So I should have them before Christmas, enough to ship out, and maybe you'll have them for Christmas under your tree. I'm really working on that. Just, I'll update my Instagram page so you know exactly what I'm doing. But before Christmas, I'll have them.
And it's
And I want to mention one thing.
good.
I'll have accessories, so they'll be on the Sim Container website, simcontainer.com. I'll have Sim XL perches, so that
have
your
the box.
chondros and your climbing arboreal snakes have something to crawl on. I'll have perches and the divider, so you
You
can
have
separate your
locks.
hatchlings from your eggs that haven't hatched yet. It's a nice idea. It's a nice product, and it works. Drop the divider in. It sits right on top of the rail. Goes all the way up to the roof, up to the lid. Separate your babies from your eggs. It's a great idea,
got
and it
the-
works. Thank you.
And
John.
also for the XLs, you got the lock.
Oh, I got locks for
Oh,
the
lock
XL.
says-
Yes,
Yeah, that's a good point. Because you know what? Some of those babies will push that lid open and
Yeah.
they'll get right out.
Sim XL locks. I got them.
Listen, John, one way for people to be on top of Sim Container products is following this podcast. Am I right
Just
or wrong?
follow this podcast and follow Sim Container on Instagram. and Sim Container on TikTok.
Thanks for supporting me,
Thank
man.
you.
I appreciate you
You're
so much.
welcome.
Give me a
Thank
hug.
you.
Love you, man. Guys, thank you
I'm
so
glad
much.
you came all the way this way. This is amazing.
This was amazing, guys. This is one of many rounds. I'm going to be back here for sure because Natalie is a force to be reckoned with. I can tell you that much. But guys, thank you so much for spending your night with us. That's all we have for this round. And that's a wrap for John of Sim Container, ladies and gentlemen.
Thank you.
Thank you, buddy.
Bye,
Appreciate
guys.
it.
Thank
Have
you.
a good night, guys.
You
Thank you so
too.
much. Natalie, good job. High five.
Good job, Nat.
All right. Yes.
Yeah, baby.
Have a good night, everyone. We'll catch you guys Sunday night. We're out.